All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. The Remington Pod is live. A little Remington doubleheader, a little Remington back-to-back. Hey, yo! It is what it is. Monday night, Tuesday night. Welcome in, welcome in. What's this we're looking at? This is nothing, Chad. Just Bronny going 6 for 10 from the field. 17 points, not bad. 17 and 5 from Bronny. Poor Dalton Connect. I'm not going to say I've checked out every single Lakers box score from Summer League, though. Again, with Bronny, I was about to say, it's not like we're keeping an eye on Dalton Connect, but it feels like we're watching all the Bronny box scores. So, we should just be knowing what Dalton Connect's production is at that point. And I feel like we kind of do, and I feel like it hasn't necessarily been great, unfortunately, for a guy Connect. So it could be a little bit of the, just Summer League. I don't know if he's just a little bit too chill. Again, not only were we not checking the box scores, make the mistake. I can't say that I'm sitting down and watching Dalton Connect in Summer League either, especially if Dalton Connect's going 1 for 8. Hey, I don't know if it's more important to watch him if he's going 1 for 8 because it's like, oh, man, this is actually something to overreact to. But it's like, okay, well, I don't want to watch him go 1 for 8 then. That seems disappointing. But, of course, the rest of the Lakers, Bronny is playing well there. So, the Lakers didn't get the win. But not bad, not bad. I don't know how much Summer League Corner is going to take over here. It seems like some of the star players sort of in and out a little bit. And it doesn't seem like we've had the sort of crazy performer, just the guy that everybody's sort of talking about type player from Summer League this year. At least I haven't heard about him. So I guess, again, it's like, does he not exist? If nobody's talking about him, or does he just still not exist and we're not talking about him? I don't know. But they don't even have stats for Summer League. They don't even keep track, honestly. Maybe NBA.com has some stats. Hey, is there an NBA Summer League.com that maybe can give us a little bit of insight into what's going on here in Summer League? And I guess everybody is talking about that Furphy dunk. The Furphy poster, that might be the play of, I guess, it is probably the play of Summer League at this point, but just the highlight sort of moment, everybody being like Furphy, because I don't know if the Pacers, because, the Halliburton thing is going to be tough for them being competitive next year, obviously, but if Furphy is at least a piece, if you go out and if you walk away from next year going, okay, Furphy's a piece, hey, whoa, Furphy, if you're thinking that he can actually be a valuable guy in the rotation for a while. No data available. Oh, there we go. Filipowski, 30 a game in Summer League. Shout out to Filipowski. 56% from the field. Timmy's got 26. I was going to say our guy Jones Garcia's got to be up there. Shout out. He has definitely been carrying the Spurs so far in the early Summer League portion. But, is he... we don't want to underrate what his role on the team could be long term. I guess I don't know if I'm assuming he's for some reason has the vibes of, maybe he's had a couple of years on the G League team, but maybe he is a rookie as well too, or I don't know if the college basketball reference page is gonna be a thing that happens. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know. Maybe. No college for our guy, David Jones Garcia, straight from the overseas. I don't think that's right. I just don't know why it wouldn't be popping up there. Let's see. David Jones Garcia, Spurs, Summer League, obviously. We know who we're talking about. Okay, he is raising some eyebrows, according to the old Google search. And again, if there's one team we're even kind of paying attention to, it would be San Antonio. It's not going to tell us any sort of spent last season in the G League with Mexico City. Okay, so I don't know where he was before that as well. But I guess I don't know if I'd start digging it up or not. But shout out. So again, no age as well. No sort of is he I guess not that it I guess it does matter, if he's 35, then he's good for the Spurs next year. He's good on the Spurs next year. It is what it is. But the long term, so I guess the type of contract that he gets, maybe the other opportunities in the league as well too. But a scoring guard could not necessarily be a bad thing for this team. I guess especially for San Antonio, we need another guard, chat. We need another playmaking sort of 6'5" type player. between De'Aaron Fox, just in case De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, and Steph Castle are all tired at the same time, or the load management pause gets really crazy at some point during the season. But I will say there was a report that I saw that was encouraging for a couple reasons. Shout out to our guy Wemby, who I did just see a report that he got cleared for basketball activities again, which is good to know because make no mistake, the man's, well, I guess this is kind of crazy. I was gonna say the man's been up to a lot of activities. Hey, yo, whoa, but I think if you've been following the social media feeds in the off season, he's definitely just been popping up everywhere. It's like, okay, Wemby's in this, just like in literally every country. He's doing a world tour. He's just all over Europe. He's with monks and he's playing soccer and he's swim teams and all kinds of crazy stuff. But there's like, okay, where's the Wemby in the gym just like 8 corner threes? That's not even a crazy bar, but where's the I guess we even got a clip of LaMelo on a Kai Cenat stream making 10 threes in a row. So it just like, okay, we're in a gym, we're hanging out, let's just make 10 threes in a row. I was like, okay, where's the Wemby gym clips at all this year? So he gets cleared for the basketball activities. He's in the swim meets and stuff with the team again. You see him start to ramp back up the sporting stuff, and I'm assuming he's doing everything he can. But there's just been even some clips of other guys that have been. I feel like it's been maybe, well, again, it's probably just us, maybe our own time on the apps, but I feel like the off-season workout clips haven't really started happening yet. So maybe that'll be more, now through sort of, end of July into August a little bit, or, end of July-ish, and then right before the season starts to ramp up. But I don't know. I feel like we would have gotten a couple of good workout and I guess we haven't really had time for the transformation yet either. The transformation clips, because even some of the, like the Spurs, shout out, but, we were in the first round of teams eliminated from the season. Just we didn't make the play-in game. So just anybody in that scenario, obviously, you have a chance to get in the gym a little bit earlier. And I guess if we're just doing timeline for Instagram post transformation clips, I guess if we started getting them now, maybe the agent has to be like, don't post it now because we don't want to get anybody get suspicious. Let's just hold off a couple of months so the timeline makes more sense. We need to start getting people like, oh, wait a second, he's the 8-week transformation. Now all of a sudden this guy's just Chris Hemsworth. All of a sudden, Michael B. Jordan just walked around the court. But if you have a little bit more right before the season, sort of show up to media day, that's a good one because that was good for the NFL. I'm sure Marvin Harrison Jr. shout out was a big was sort of a newsworthy transformation. I think that was the main one that we saw, but I don't remember if anybody else sort of got that same hype as well too. Shows off physique change. It was kind of terrifying. It was a little bit like, oh, he looks kind of like this, because that is, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. kind of still projects as a unstoppable type wide receiver, but he is on the skinnier side, so there would always be that mental part of your, just as a fan, where you're like, maybe against a more physical corner would maybe have a good chance at a matchup against him. But if he actually adds that physicality to his game as well too, he does enter a different type of territory. And again, you got Justin Jefferson right now as arguably the best receiver in the league, and he is not necessarily a guy that is walking around like that all the time as well too. Do we have a link to an Instagram page or something? A link to another article? Do we have the picture? Hey, yo. Oh, okay, here we go. I see a tweet. Do we have a photo link to this? Who knows? I guess we can click into it here and see what happens. And it could have been some lighting as well too. I remember this being a very favorable media photo for sure. So I gotta log out real quick. Okay, let me see here real quick. Okay, wait, mute this real quick before we start. Just it just starts auto logging us in to some of these websites. Oh well, it's gonna make me log in anyways. Otherwise, it's just gonna be. It's like, hey, log in with this account right here. It's okay. Settle down. I get it. I just want, and this isn't even a photo as well too. This is just a video. This is just his just like media day interview. So, oh, okay, this is a photo for sure. I guess, you know, if you need favorable lighting, is it a transformation? We'll see. But I mean, you definitely see the added bulk for sure. So, whoa, ruined the page there. Sorry, chat. But the one that the Cardinals posted on their page as well. Let me see if I can find it on my phone real quick. I can save it and then see if I can pull it up on the page here for you guys to see. IT, is this the most effective way to do it? Do they have it pinned to the top? Oh no, they literally just posted about it 6 minutes ago. Is Arizona Cardinals fans? Are you guys in the live stream right now? Is the Cardinals media team in the live stream just watching? They're like, yeah, you know what? Another post about Marvin Harrison Jr. You're right. If you need a picture, they're like, we got it. This is actually the best one yet. Literally all. Okay, well, I guess we don't even have to save it. We don't need. We just log in here. Okay, wait a second. I guess we got to go back real quick and see what's going on real quick before we fire up. But yeah, this is a much more favorable angle for our guy Marvin Harrison Jr. Shout out again. You assume, are they going to have the same sort of shadow effect lighting when he's on the field? Does Arizona have to rig their stadium with particular lighting now to make Marvin Harrison Jr. look more menacing? But I don't think so, because he looking terrifying. Bang! There we go. Oh, wait, pause. There we go, chat. I don't know if that's the right time to use the Mike Breen drop right there, but our guy Marvin Harrison Jr. is looking, of course, pretty terrifying this offseason. Where's the one with just the bicep? They were like, okay, we need to get a bicep shot in here. Hey, I don't think we had this angle on the last one. So shout out to our guy Marvin Harrison Jr. Now that he's no longer, of course, at his previous team, not, of course, in the NFL. Oh, we've got a couple of Marv hymns. There we go. Marv the Menace. The fact that the Cardinals media team didn't think of Marv him is, unless, you know, maybe if they posted this a couple months ago, maybe they put that on there. But I feel like still, Marv the Menace, I don't know if that works as well. See, the problem with the Menace, I don't know if this reference still, like, people obviously like, oh, how many people have actually watched Dennis the Menace? But I feel like that name still is around a little bit. And at least for me, anyways, I always associate. It's like, it's just a corny character, and anytime that nickname is used for somebody, it's just again associate with the corniness of that character. But I don't know, Marvin Harrison Jr. I guess he is definitely is he a corny guy? Ayo, but I assume he is, you know, not as serious as he looks in his photos. Ayo, chat. I don't know. We get an interview or something about Marvin Harrison Jr. But shout out to the Cardinals for just the quick update, just the reminder. I was gonna say, are they just reminding us about? Oh, I guess this is not the Cardinals Instagram feed. Shout out. Oh yeah, I saved this because I was gonna bring this up, so this is perfect. The Michigan shout out, the first school ever. This is kind of you know, obviously impressive that it happened. It's one of those things like, oh yeah, this has never happened before, but this is an interesting stat. The first school ever to have a first round selection in all 4 drafts in the same year. So they had Mason Graham go 5th overall in the NFL. Danny Wolf, shout out to the Nets. Fortunately, the Nets had 5 first-round picks, and Danny Wolf got selected. I don't really know what's going on with the baseball draft here, and I don't know if we're getting this in on a technicality. You know, all love in the chat right now for Michigan fans in the comment section here. So nobody's being like, hey, actually, comp A, balance A is the 4th pick of the 2nd round. But our guy Mitch Voigt is first round in the MLB draft, and then Mitch Orkoff in the NHL draft is the 24th overall pick. So, yeah, shout out to the University of Michigan for that accomplishment. I mean, the football-basketball thing alone, I feel like, could be kind of tricky. I know some of those, you know, Big Ten, there's a little bit of balance there. I think as of late, you know, schools like Alabama, of course, the basketball program over there under Nate Oates has really taken off. So they have definitely had. I mean, they've definitely had first round picks in both over the last couple of years. Because you just pick out any year that they got an NBA player drafted in the first round over the last 20 years, and it's like, okay, they probably had an NFL player drafted in the first round at that point as well too. So even I don't know. The Spurs obviously took shout out. Did Primo go to Alabama? Where did Primo go to college? Ayo. But I'm sure I don't even remember who went to Alabama. I'm stuck at Colin Sexton. I don't even know if Colin Sexton actually played under Nate Oates. Who was the guards that just played under? They had Quinterly, and then Ayo. Well, they have Spears, right? Well, they just had Spears, but now we got to go back to Alabama. Who's the guard who's the other? Kyra Lewis didn't go to Alabama. Let me see here. Last couple of years. Not that it does matter, obviously. Shout out. But, Brandon Miller, of course. Clowney. So both of those guys, Brandon Miller, of course, second overall pick. So, even, 2 first-round picks in the same draft. Maybe I am. Oh, Keon Ellis and J.D. Davison. Keon Ellis. I think I'm thinking of Keon Ellis. I don't know why. But shout out Keon Ellis. Is he still unrestricted free agent? Spurs, little defense in the backcourt there. Well, Herb Jones, Primo. Yeah, Primo, Keon Ellis. A stacked lineup, chat. And Shackelford Shackelford led the team in scoring. Shackelford was good. Oh, I'm thinking of Petty. I am thinking of Petty. It doesn't say no NBA logo for Petty. The one guy that didn't get drafted is the guy I'm thinking of for some reason. But shout out to Petty. Maybe he should have been drafted. I don't know, 6'5", 184. Yeah, I think he had some. Did he have some range? Was it hypothetical? I don't remember if we have to pull this. Petty still playing? Is that why? No, he was a senior back then. Wait a second. He did have 44 and then 37% from 3. So he was definitely pretty consistent from that distance from his last 2 seasons, and 38% from his career as well too. It's really just that second season that he was a little bit lower, and it was his lowest attempts as well too. His fewest games started that year, so bringing him off the bench a little bit more, I don't know if that affected his game, but yeah, I don't know. Somebody give. Well, I guess I don't know if we have to go back and Google the Josh Petty's or John Petty. John, have I been calling him Josh Petty? John Petty? Hey yo, I'm still thinking of Primo, I guess. So I don't know. I'm getting Wikipedia pages and players mixed up here. I don't know what's going on, but there is, of course, first round. Point being, first round NBA and NFL talent for both those schools. I mean, has Kansas had a first round football player? I'm trying to think. We could go back. I guess because in the NBA, they only have 2 rounds. It's not like the NFL guys obviously only have good picks in the. They only have 2 rounds. So even if you have. It's like, oh man, the 27th pick in the NBA draft became the best player, and it's like, okay, so it's still a weird thing where he's a first round pick. The NFL doesn't really have that sort of thing. But now I don't even remember. Just rambling. I don't even remember who we're thinking about. But there of course. Point being, there is Michigan's the first team to do it for all 4 sports in the same year. So shout out. So and I think Danny Wolf has the best chance to win Rookie of the Year. Chat. Hey yo. Mason Graham is I think that the thing is, of course, the defense interior thing would be a little. I mean, it would be crazy if he did win that his first season, and I think the impact of that, you could definitely be a pretty good impact guy. Year 1 was Dexter Lawrence Rookie of the Year. His rookie year, he definitely emerged pretty quickly as one of the better players in that draft. But, it took him a couple seasons, I guess, to kind of get the ball rolling there before he got to the all-pro level anyways. So, yeah, not really Rookie of the Year contention his first year. I guess more sort of a, like maybe a 3-4 defensive end early on. They had him listed as defensive end and then moved into nose tackle. But those are the best type of nose tackles. Ayo, chat. I don't know. Or the best type of defensive ends also as well, too. The ones that are just like the crazy specimens like that. But I just like looking at that on a Pro Football Reference page and the guys in history. It's like the guys that have the defensive tackle and the defensive end both listed on there. It's pretty common. Again, it is one of those things. It's like, okay, I don't know if it correlates to being the great players or to get great players. There's just a versatility in general, so you kind of move them around and use them in different ways. But does like J.J. Watt have a tackle? Listen, J.J. Watt I think could have played some version of tackle. I don't know if he would have. Yeah, he wouldn't have lined up there enough for the full season to get the listing. Like Myles Garrett as well too is kind of like right on the edge of okay. It's like I guess he's a defensive end, but I know he's just a couple of more in and out stops, and he's basically a defensive tackle at this point. 288 for our guy Watt. Garrett 272. So he's just crazy jacked up. 272 pause. Mostly defensive end. The one I'm thinking of mainly, and maybe it's just like, okay, everybody just live up to the Reggie White standard. And unfortunately, I wasn't around to watch the Reggie White playing days, but he is got the sneaky tackle listing in here. It's like, okay, Reggie White. It's got that versatility. And there's another one that I think it was as well too. One of those Vikings guys, did Alan Page win MVP of the league one year? I think he did. Yeah, 71. Shout out. A defensive tackle, won league MVP. So this is the standard, I guess, for Mason Graham if he wants to start with Alan Page. What do we have? 8.5 sacks. He was third in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. So the 67 draft apparently stacked with great defensive players. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Daryl LaMonica. Oh, MVP. Not Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year. Mel Farr. Offensive Rookie of the Year. A fullback. I guess a running back, mostly. Lem Barney. Had 10 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. That is a pretty crazy year. 232 return yards. And then Rick Volk. Shout out Colts. 6 picks, 145 return yards. A safety. Legendary Colts safety, Rick Volk. Hey, yo, what was the career like after the 67 rookie year? Because, okay, 3 Pro Bowls, Super Bowl, and was he on that? Okay, he was a rookie. Or I guess it was 70 that we... Oh, 67, I think, was the Super Bowl that we don't want to talk about. Or 68. Or one of those, whichever one they, name it, was going crazy. But they did win Super Bowl 5? Should we know that, Chad? Are we a bad Colts fan? We don't... Super Bowl 5, I think, that they won. But one of those early ones. It's a weird one because it's not really... Unitas wasn't really like it's not like a legendary Unitas season. I think he had some moments there. Maybe in some of the championship run, maybe even in the championship game itself. I think he might have subbed in the championship game and, kind of had a little bit of a moment. But I think it's not like a crazy, all-time stuff on the highlight reel for the documentary part of it. So it's just like the Baltimore thing as well, too, at Indianapolis. That stuff is, again, the history with the Ravens there, it all sort of works. But it's not like... remember the Super Bowl 5 team. You don't see the Colts Instagram posting a lot about that old Super Bowl 5 team. Not a lot of Bubba Smith posts for the Colts. I guess I haven't really honestly thought about that up until this point. We'll have to keep an eye out. I don't know, have to do a little cross-reference some of the old Colts birthdays to days on Instagram. Like, who's Lenny Moore, the running back? Yeah, I don't know what the rules are because we moved. Are we allowed to post about the Baltimore guys? Like you have to post a couple of Lenny Moore highlights. Why are we not posting Lenny Moore highlights, Chad? Where's the Lenny Moore was a problem 60-second highlight reel? It's the middle of summer. We have nothing to post about. We can't just throw out a Lenny Moore highlight reel. Remember the great days of Lenny Moore and is it Jim Parker? Oh, Chad, see, it's like I feel like I used to kind of know all the names from the old Colts players, but Jim Parker, I think, is the old offensive lineman. Yeah, shout out Hall of Famer, Chad. All 50s team. Legend guy. You just know Jim Parker is going to be a menace to offensive lineman. Just a decade run of first-team All-Pros right in a row. One of the best to ever do it at left tackle. Him and Lenny Moore, of course. And Unitas. And Alan Amici. How's there not this is the best backfield that nobody ever talks about? Lenny Moore and Alan Amici. Literally, nobody talks about it. The Colts don't even talk about it. But I'm not seeing there's no Unitas. We're calling out all these low-key guys. Where's the Jim Parker highlight reel? Where's the Unitas highlight reel? Where's remember the 58 championship game? We need a yearly post about the 58 championship game to remember the greatest game in NFL history. But again, it's a Baltimore thing, so I don't know what the rules are there. But it's a missed opportunity either way. Maybe do we follow the Ravens account just to see what happens? somebody needs to post. There needs to be, the Colts need to start sort of a history, Colts throwback account, Colts highlights, and just post old Colts highlights. I don't know how many followers that gets in 2025, but I think, I don't know. I don't know. Here, let me see what they posted about recently. There's got to be something worse than Lenny Moore highlights. And I guess 1 million. The Colts have 1 million followers. Hey, yo. So, okay, they did a Colts players versus a then versus now. I feel like that's a pretty standard, post. And shout out. I guess, we only want greatness from all the things that, in our lives. So, the Colts, I feel like the Colts social media could step it up a little bit. I don't know if it's necessarily if it's in competition for the best in the league. I'm not necessarily have all of the teams, individual team pages locked into the algorithm, but you do get some of the cross posting. I guess that's not what it's necessarily called. But hey, yo, Chad, I don't even know what it's called. But you do get the collab posting with the NFL and just various players and stuff, of course. So it gets into that. And again, you do get obviously the stuff in your algorithm. So you're seeing stuff from the other teams. A lot of interviews, of course, some training camp highlights. So, I mean, some stuff that you'd expect. A little fundraiser post. RIP, of course, Ursay. There's a tell us a secret. Okay, again, you get some of the short form TikTok stuff, for the kids. Guys entering into training camp. Some getting off the plane, some guys running around. Guys on a fishing trip. So I feel like there could be some lamer. There's really no throwback highlights. I guess I don't know if we go to other NFL teams. Of course, our brother is a Broncos fan. So I feel like the Broncos have a sneaky good social media team. Are they posting throwbacks? They do have a happy birthday Shannon Sharp. Okay, a happy birthday John Elway. Happy birthday Champ Bailey. I mean, throwbacks for sure. But, 90s, I don't know if 90s is what we're necessarily saying here for this thing. And even still, where's the Bart something? Burt Jones. Where's the Burt Jones highlights? The Colts should be posting about Burt Jones all the time. Remember Burt Jones. Speaking of sneaky MVPs, I think maybe the year before Alan Page or the year after, another 70s MVP in there. Shout out our guy, Burt Jones. Maybe the Panthers have a good social media. I don't know if we're just doing NFL social media rankings all of a sudden. And I guess the Cardinals, they also have a good social media as well too. Okay, Cam Newton highlights on the Panthers. So is it okay if you're a desperate franchise, you got to post throwback highlights? Is that the rule? We have Bryce Young stock, so I don't want to start talking about Bryce Young. Shout out. There's a Bryce Young highlight right after the Cam Newton highlight, so they made sure to support their guy. 58 days till kickoff. Look at that. They're using throwback players. I mean, of course, 58. I don't even have to say it. We're talking about the Panthers. Shout out the legend Thomas Davis. He is getting a post there. So look at, Luke Kuechly on the 59. So again, is it a little bit of remember the good old days for some of these teams? Like if we go to the Browns, I don't know if do we get Otto Graham highlights for the Browns? I was just are the Bills posting about some of their running backs from back in the day? But they could just, of course, with the Josh Allen highlights and stuff, manage pretty well. A lot of stadium renovation stuff. There's a Joe Flacco, a year 18 for Joe Flacco post. I guess you got to have that in there for sure. Jurassic Browns. Okay. There's a post of the Browns players in a poster for Jurassic Park. It's a pretty solid edit. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't look like they spent the most time on it, but it is pretty good. And Jurassic Browns is not super creative, but you got to give them props. Happy birthday, Njoku. Madden rating, Jerry Jeudy coming in at 80. No, not Madden rating. NFL top 100 players. Jerry Jeudy number 82. So they posted about that as well too. So we're no Jim Brown highlights, I guess, for Cleveland. So maybe this is just a call out for the league. We start. I guess we could call out our own team as well too, because maybe we want them to get ahead and be a front runner in this situation. But we need more historical stuff in the and for the NBA as well too. I do feel like the NBA maybe we also follow just more NBA historical counts as well, so we're just getting more NBA. Maybe it's just on our up to us to follow more historical NFL accounts to get those type of highlights. But I feel like some of the NBA stuff does do a good job. Even to the point where Simmons, shout out Bill Simmons, he gets to talk on his pod about, do they get to go too far with the NBA player stuff where it's like, oh, some guys remember this guy was a problem, and it's like, oh, are we hyping up this? Cause like, okay, well, still just a 6-second, can I get cool highlights on Instagram? Is that not allowed? But the idea of, again, just going back and firing up some old highlights, I feel like it's never going to be a bad idea. But also, training camp stuff is fun as well, too. And it gets you hyped up for fantasy. And you start looking into stuff about media days and players with transformations. And it does make sense. And it's extension time as well, too. Hey, we got the deals rolling in. The Chiefs signed a guard. There's another receiver today that I think got another extension. Of course, shout out Garrett Wilson. He got paid yesterday. But let me see here. Does it say on the ESPN thing? Is that where I think I might have saw it? The Jets just paid Gardner. That's what it was. They didn't pay a receiver. They paid Sauce Gardner. Shout out. So, continuing to lock down the core. I think they already had Quinnen Williams locked down as well, too. So, those foundational pieces, of course, continue to be there for a while. And the Connecticut Sun hanging with the Fever tonight? Hey, yo. Fever, what's going on? Sun 3-18. I mean, can be a competitive team night to night, but should still be a team that you would expect a pretty good performance over. If you got Kayla Clark back, 2 for 5. I guess, I don't know if she has necessarily had a lights-out scoring game since she's gotten back, but I think she's had really good, all-around performances for sure. But Tina Charles, 4 for 11 from the field, but still cooking anyways. Getting to the free throw line a little bit, some rebounds for sure. LeCann off the bench is 3 for 4. Natasha Howard with 12 points. And we got Aaliyah Boston 0 for 4 tonight. So not the ideal Aaliyah Boston game, but a really great Kelsey Mitchell game. We need to look up Kelsey Mitchell's season stats, honestly, at this point. And maybe she's on a heater as well, too. Again, it could just be the games we watch byproduct of it. But let's see what we have got for Kelsey Mitchell for the season. 19 a game this year. The 3-point percentage hovers around where it's been, it looks like, for the career percentage. The overall field goal percentage is up. Oh, she was at 40% last year as well, too. So, similar points per game as well. I guess her efficiency was actually better last year. Hey, yo. So, I don't know if it's just her playing without Clark a little bit, or if it just felt like the stuff was being different between her and Boston. But I guess she's been 20 plus in a lot of the games since late June here. The last 10 games or so. There's a 19 and a 12-pointer in there. And I guess the 12-pointer, is a little bit more recently as well, too. So we wait a couple of games and we filter this differently. Who knows? But for right now, we see where it stands. We remember the stretch of the season. 9 games. 52% from the field. 50% from 3. Yeah, she's been cooking. Hey, what's this ad? Shout out. 22 a game. So, yeah, she's up to... The efficiency is way up. 15 attempts a game. The scoring number is still, overall a little bit around the same. But 3 assists a game as well, too. But, yeah, I mean, again, just on a heater with the scoring. So, she is playing really well. Again tonight. But we do also, of course, have the ESPYs tomorrow, which I know, obviously everybody is locked in 2025, waiting for the ESPYs. But we do need to scan through the categories real quick. Shout out, of course, to Shane Gillis getting the hosting gig as well, too. So, we expect a fun monologue there. But best athlete men's sports, again, these are the nominees. So you got Josh Allen, Ohtani, Barkley, and Shea Gilgeous. So the NFL gets 2 athletes. No hockey guys for best men's athlete, just everybody left off. Didn't McDavid just have a great playoff run? I guess I don't know if they actually, I don't think they ended up winning the Stanley Cup because, now we're really exposing ourselves as hockey fans. But hockey fans, don't get mad at us for bringing up Connor McDavid in this conversation. It's like, okay, he's not properly. It's like, well, we don't know about him. It's like, okay, we know there's a great hockey player that's being left off, so we're trying to help you out here. But just because they don't know all the details doesn't mean that, it's not right. But shout out to Barkley as well. I'm not saying take Barkley or Allen off as well. Whoa, pause. But, Barkley just won the Super Bowl. Like, Barkley kind of has to be on. Ohtani. I guess all 3 of these guys won the championship as well. Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to say that. Bring that back up. But Josh Allen, again, he did get a ring of his own this offseason, so not necessarily too shabby there. But if we were just going the champions, I guess then you would have to go with a Panthers guy as well, too. Florida Panthers for hockey. But McDavid was also in the championship game as well, if that's a little bit of a boost for his case. But best athlete women's sports, you got Simone Biles for gymnastics, Sydney McLaughlin Lavrone for track and field, Gabby Thomas for track and field, and Asia Wilson for WNBA as well too. So only one WNBA player getting represented, 3 in the Olympic type field for sure. And Biles did have she was one of the stars of the Olympics this last time. For sure. I don't remember exactly who had the most medals this last time between McLaughlin and Gabby Thomas. I want to say maybe Gabby Thomas had, I guess, more medals as well, too. I don't know, more golds as well. But either way, stellar Olympics all the way around. But I think Biles might actually have a chance to hot take, have a chance. But I feel like she's probably won this award before. Wait, we don't just have a list of awards. ESPY Award Best Female Athlete nominated in 2016. Oh, wait, a second. Breonna Stewart won in 2016. Is that right? Yes, Stewart won in 2016. Okay, 17. And then she won in 17. 18 was inducted into the Texas Women's Hall of Fame. Shout out. Nominated in 2019 again. Lost to Alex Morgan. 2020, 2021, 22, 23, 24, now 25. So I don't know if we go into the stats and remember exactly, okay, their performances compared to Biles in those individual years. But I just remember Biles having a really great Olympics. So, I don't know. I feel like she might be a contender in that category for sure. But best breakthrough athlete, Cooper Flagg, Chloe Humphrey, North Carolina women's lacrosse, Iona Mayer, rugby, and Paul Skeens. Whoa! Best breakthrough athlete, Paul Skeens. Cooper Flagg. I feel like, are a basketball bias here? I mean, Cooper Flagg, is it not Cooper Flagg? Or any of these? I guess Skeens does get the generational talent label. But baseball fans, get in the DMs at Rem and Sam. Is Paul Skeens the Cooper Flagg of baseball? Is Cooper Flagg the Paul Skeens of basketball? I don't know, but it does feel like Cooper Flagg's ability to impact winning, of course, that's the basketball thing compared to the baseball thing, the individual player part of it, is definitely more right away impactful. I don't know, lacrosse is the one player, can they impact a lacrosse team the way that Cooper Flagg can impact a basketball team? And same with rugby. I don't know. But best comeback athlete, Sonny Lee, Lindsey Vaughn, Gabriel Laneskog, and Mallory Swanson from the U.S. women's soccer team. It's got to be Sonny Lee, Chad. This might be the biggest lock of the entire list. I guess we haven't looked up all the categories. Cooper Flagg, double nominated? Whoa! Hey, yo. Cooper Flagg, who would have thought just best... How is he not nominated best male athlete? Just as a college... do you have to be a professional athlete to get nominated for this? I guess with the track and field, I guess these guys are all pro-level athletes either way, even if they're Olympic athletes already. Because Cooper Flagg wouldn't have even have been an Olympic athlete either. So, shout out. But he could have made the team. He was obviously cooking up in that practice. But Yeah, it's a shout out Sunny Lee. She's got to have that category locked down. Best college men's sports, so not just men's basketball, men's sports. Travis Hunter and Cooper Flagg. Whoa! Shout out Wyatt Hendrickson and CJ Christ. But if a Cornell lacrosse player and Oklahoma State wrestling player wins this, the internet's just going to ask some questions. I'm not saying that we're going to be right. I'm just saying that there's going to be questions asked. It's our fault that these are the only two sports that we're familiar with, but it is what it is. We like football and we like basketball at this point. So I don't know, did Wyatt Hendrickson have the best season that a wrestler's ever had? Let's see what it is. Won the heavyweight title defeating Gable. Oh, a major upset. So that is an interesting one because if he had a certain hype going into whatever tournament they were playing or whatever championship, or maybe it's just, again, Stevenson is just that, a powerhouse in college right now. But the underdog factor of it could make for a better story, but it also is interesting when you're awarding maybe a more total performance, because I guess Cooper Flagg didn't win it. Neither of the other guys won a title. I guess if we're going for that debate, it is an individual sport as well too, so he accomplished that goal. CJ Christ for lacrosse, Cornell lacrosse. It doesn't say 2025 champion, so I don't know. They have too many accolades to put that on there, or they didn't. First pick in the lacrosse draft, the Premier Lacrosse League. Ayo, so he is also next up as well, as you would expect. So I was going to say Cooper Flagg and Travis Hunter would be battling this out. And Travis Hunter, the uniqueness of his season with the two-way thing, because I guess the other comparison would be did Cooper Flagg accomplish stuff that we'd never seen a college basketball player ever accomplish before? I don't think that's quite the right way to phrase it. I think he had a great season and is a great prospect and could have a great NBA career, obviously. But I don't know if he necessarily had a one-of-one college season. Again, CJ Chris, shout out. I think maybe he's in kind of the Cooper Flagg, the Duke and the lacrosse guy being in the same sort of category. But you get what we're saying. I think maybe it's the current talent, of course, in the college sport, but also the projectable talent going forward as well too. And same with Travis Hunter. But again, in college football, we've literally never seen that season before. We've seen versions of that season before and called it that season, but we've never actually seen that season in full. Pause. But we've never actually seen a guy accomplish that for an entire year, and that's what Travis Hunter did. And I guess maybe there was some injury. Was there an injury or two where he was out for a couple games? I don't remember exactly, but regardless, when he was playing, the percentage of playing plays both ways is still incredible. So it's basically him or Wyatt Hendrickson, I guess, for best college best college athlete men's sports, best college athlete women's sports. Gretchen Walsh, Katie Fossey, North Carolina soccer, Olivia Baycock, Pittsburgh volleyball, and Juju Watkins, USC basketball. Once again, Chad. You want to go with the basketball. I don't know if the swimming people got Olympic qualifications or not, but it does say, am I seeing world record here? What does it say? That could be a pretty impressive achievement to try to take down if you're one of these other contenders. American competitive swimmer and swimsuit model, and world record holder in the 100-meter butterfly. How is there no picture on her Wikipedia? That's a miss. But 100 world record holder in the 100-meter butterfly 4x100. Oh wait, so all of these 100-meter butterfly 4x100 medley relay, mixed gender 4x100 medley relay, 50-meter butterfly, 100-meter butterfly, and 100-meter individual. I don't know what IM means, but she won the silver medal in the 100-meter butterfly at the, I don't know what event that was, but holy cow, she's the world record holder, and all those is crazy. The shout out Fossey, am I saying the last name right here? I guess we don't have pronunciation on it, but she is I guess led the nation in goals, won the championship this past year, awarded the Herman Trophy. Is that the Heisman Trophy? They just kind of mispronounced it and gave it. That's their thing. Gretchen Walsh was in the Olympics. I was gonna say, won silver at the Summer Olympics in 2024, where she also set the Olympic record for the 100-meter butterfly in the semis. Whoa, she additionally holds one world junior record in the mixed gender 4x100 medley relay event, as the American records in the as well as the American records in the 50-meter butterfly, 400-meter freestyle relay, 400-meter, man, just all of, I mean, the list goes on, Chad. The list goes on. This might be Gretchen Walsh. Again, I don't know if she's setting those world records in this individual season, so I'm not, discounting those world records, obviously. I'm just trying to, what are we awarding? Is this like the Rat Madness bracket? Are we awarding the performances from the past year? So she did get the silver medal. Juju Watkins, unfortunate as it is, did get hurt and was not able to compete in the tournament in a major way. So was not able to, of course, get in that championship status this past year. But again, it's only due to injury, so there is that. And I guess I don't know what happened with Pittsburgh volleyball this past year as well, too. But this may be Gretchen Walsh in this category. It's either her or Juju Watkins. And, Juju Watkins will have a chance as well to win a title. But I guess I don't remember the exact extent of the injury. Was it an ACL? That's a brutal one, chat. But best team? Oh, best team in general. Okay, so we got UConn Huskies women's basketball, Eagles NFL, Ohio State college football, the Liberty WNBA, North Carolina Tar Heels women's lacrosse, United States women's national soccer, Thunder NBA, Florida Panthers NHL, and Dodgers MLB. So I guess, Virginia swimming, could that get nominated as a team? Because I was going to say, that was the only team that get nominated out of that category as well, too. I guess, none of the other really teams in some of the guys' categories got nominated. I guess best breakthrough athlete, Chloe Humphrey. Oh, wait, so that's women. Oh, so North Carolina's just crushing in the other sports as well, too. They got women's lacrosse and women's soccer, both with athletes nominated there. So, oh, wait a second. Best team. And then they had, the lacrosse team was best team. So if the lacrosse team is best team, then maybe Chloe Humphrey has a chance at best breakthrough athlete if she was the leader of this team. She led them to the 2025, became the first freshman to win the Tweriton Award. Whoa! I guess also, why is Travis Hunter not in the breakthrough athlete category? Because I feel like him and Cooper Flagg both have the same kind of hype. They just have, I feel like the timeline for following their careers has been kind of the same, low key. So maybe this is, and like Paul Skeens has been around a little bit. I guess when did Livy Dunn start posting about Paul Skeens? But with Chloe Humphrey, with the North Carolina team winning the title again, that's a pretty strong case right there. So she might have that one locked down. Can we bet on this on FanDuel? Is there odds? I guess we have the FanDuel. What are the? Who knew, chat? We just had the FanDuel tab open right there. Wait, let's see what we've got cooking. And obviously, once you look at the bets once you find bets that you want to place, if you want to shop the odds, FanDuel might not have the best odds. You want to shop the odds, you use BETSTAMP, chat. The link's in the description. But we don't have any SB tabs for the FanDuel page, apparently. So I bet if we really dug deep on the internet pause, we could find something. But, I mean, if ESPN themselves, I guess, because they literally, what do you build a sports book for if not to have us bet on an award show? You create these fake events, at least have us bet on these fake events. I don't understand why that wouldn't be too complicated. Just have somebody cook up some fake odds for the ESPYs. You've got a whole segment of people that aren't betting right. Oh, guys, how many? We'll roll over into other sports, make the mistake. We're betting on Summer League, but there is there's got to be at least some people that are like, okay, well, you know what? There's no NFL, no NBA. Like, I'm just, those are the sports that I bet on. I'm just waiting for those again. But just to have the ESPYs in the middle would be would be a fun event. So maybe they've tried it and just nobody betted on the ESPYs, and they were like, well, it's not worth it. But nobody has odds. ESPN, this is such a L. Like, you have this award show. You can like over under the monologue like it's the national anthem for the Super Bowl. Like, you can really go all crazy. I don't know. You have somebody sneak out there and pour Gatorade on Shane Gillis after he's done, and we can bet on the color. Like, you can whatever. It can be whatever it is. But the Thunder and the Panthers would have interesting categories here because they do have sort of that team vibe that carried them. Like, Becker's, of course, with UConn. I mean, that was a great team, obviously. But Beckers has a star player sort of face there. Same with Liberty. The Liberty is, I mean, the Liberty's just stacked. So I guess we name all their stars and say, well, they have all stars, and it's just a stacked team. But they're definitely a contender as well, too. The Dodgers, maybe that's the case of the stars. We'd have to go through the rest of the roster, and I think it's stacked as well, too. But that's the most top-heavy team of anybody here, I think. If you have Ohtani and Mookie Betts and I guess Freddie Freeman as well, too. Best championship performance, Freddie Freeman's nominated. So this may be the Dodgers. The Dodgers may get best team. The Eagles, I think, have a shot. The Buckeyes, as much as I don't want to say it, they have a shot as well, too. I don't know if has a college team ever. I guess UConn has probably won this for women's college basketball before, but has a college football team has ever won this? Best team. Here, do we have a history of this award? College basketball, 96. Okay, so UConn was one of the earlier teams to win it as well, too. Shout out. Women's soccer. So, outside of the major sports there. Oh, the Colts won it in 2007. I guess when our defense was healthy for that playoff push, obviously winning the Super Bowl is going to help. And that was the year as well, too, if they're counting that Spurs title, if that lines up with that Spurs-Cavs title year. You're not really nominating the Cavs as best team. I think the Spurs, it's not the best version of that team. So, I don't know if you're nominating a basketball team, I guess the Spurs probably got nominated. But that's one that the Colts could have actually, had a case against that season for sure. But, again, once Bob Sanders was healthy, I mean, he just upped that whole defense. And it's like, oh, man, everybody, Bob Sanders and Freeney and Mathis, and then the offense is stacked. But, yeah, it doesn't look like – oh, wait, Oklahoma Sooners. Here we go, 2001. They tied with the Yankees. Oh, okay. So is that the only time that a college team has won it? Basketball, the Don Staley's team won it last year. And then the Chiefs, the Warriors, the Bucks. No, nothing due to COVID. So, yeah, only one time a college football team has won this award is 2001. Is that the... Who's on this team, Chad? Jason White? Is that the quarterback? Yeah, Jason White. Shout out. Oh, Josh Heupel is on this team. Now coach of Tennessee. I was going to say previously coach of Central Florida. So, yeah, currently coach of University of Tennessee. Shout out. I don't know if this one had a ton of guys that went on to be NFL stars. Maybe on the defense. Let's check on the defense here. Wait a second. Where did it go? Oh, linebackers. Jimmy Wilkerson, Brendan Moore. J.T. Thatcher in the defensive back. Derek Strait. Shout out. Roy Williams. Okay, Roy Williams was definitely a menacing safety for sure. But, again, that kind of get lost a little bit when you don't have the extra push of that type of value with the name value stuff. With the NFL career, I think Mark Clayton had a pretty decent NFL career. Or is there a Mark Clayton from back in the day? Maybe as well, too. There was that Dolphins receiver from, I guess it wouldn't have been 2001 because he would have been playing with Moreno. Was he Mark Clayton or was he just somebody? Was there a Mark on that team and then he was a Clayton? I'm just mixing it up. Because they did have a wide receiver duo. Oh, no, yeah, there was a Mark Clayton. So different Mark Clayton than I'm thinking of. That when I said, shout out, he probably had a good NFL career as well, too. But I was thinking, when I was thinking of the career I was thinking of was this guy's career with the Dolphins. Because he had a couple of, I guess that 84 season, this would have been probably the season Moreno had that, 18 touchdowns for our guy Clayton. He would have had that historic 50 touchdown, 49 touchdown season. I guess Manning would have been the first to get to 48. Then Manning got to 49. Then Brady got to 50. Then Manning got to 55. Okay. So we're locked back in, chat. But they had the double 1,000-yard receivers this year. I don't know if that was a first in history, but I know it was definitely a landmark thing. Dupier, yeah. So Mark Clayton and Mark Dupier. Dupier. Unfortunately, Clayton got all the touchdowns, and Nate Moore sneaking in, getting some touchdowns. 43 catches, 6 touchdowns. Bruce Hardy, 28 catches, 5 touchdowns. So our guy Dupier, 71 catches, 8 touchdowns, is an okay percentage as well too. But yeah, it's, I don't know, I guess, did we narrow it down by every team is in contention here for best team at the ESPYs 2000? But I would say the Dodgers are a safe bet to win that because of, again, just the star power that they have right now is pretty crazy. Best championship performance, yes, so Simone Biles in the all-around, so that might lock her in then for that best athlete women's sports. You got Steph in the Steph at the Olympics, Freddie Freeman at the World Series, and Rory at the Masters was a fun storyline that everybody was definitely talking about. Everybody was pretty happy for Rory, and Rory's definitely one of the guys that I like for golfers as well too. I mean, shocker, everybody likes Rory, but I mean that Steph performance, both Steph and Simone Biles, obviously, for the country, for USA. So that Steph Olympic basketball performance was stuff for the ages. I guess that's the part about the gymnastics stuff that, as the historian there, I wouldn't necessarily know. Was that because that was by far the best Steph Team USA basketball performance, for him as a player. I would say probably the best Team USA basketball performance of the 21st century. I don't know if the Kobe Redeem Team game, we go back and check it out, watch the documentary. Okay, we're watching the documentary again tonight. It is what it is. But the way we go back and see what his performance was in that game, in some of those games. But I don't know if it was more moments in sort of leadership than it was actually the actual stats and the totality of the game. But, I'm going to be biased. I'm going to give it to Steph. It is what it is. But you got 2 Olympic performances in there versus 2 interleague performances. Like, Steph is obviously not getting nominated for, because, Simone, I guess she could have if she had a world record performance in a different event, then that could get nominated, obviously. But the professional career outside of the Olympics for any of those other sports is going to be different than the professional careers for the basketball, the football, baseball, even the fighting people as well, too, a little bit. But best athlete with a disability. Shout out to Tiana McFadden, track and field, Ezra Fretch, track and field, Noah Elliott, snowboard, and Grace Norman, the para-triathlon. So shout out, chat. Good to see that they're getting that award in the mix as well, too. Since 2002. Shout out best athlete with a disability. But best individual play? Oh, I forgot they had this as award. Has this been a low-key award there? It says 2002 as well. Okay, yeah. Barkley, Halliburton, Barkley, the backwards hurdle. Halliburton calls game, NBA Finals Game 1. Sabrina from the logo Game 3. Trinity Rodman sends U.S. to the semis and the U.S. Olympics. So that was a great run for that Team USA team. You do have 2 championship performances as well, too. So same with Barkley. As much as Barkley is, it shows you how great that play was, that it's literally just the most in a game play. I guess even the soccer play is a game, an overtime goal to get the win. So Saquon has the one actual play in the mix to potentially get there. So he does have a strong case. Halliburton, it was a great performance and a great moment, and if he doesn't get hurt, the finals are definitely very interesting. But also, and that, I guess that Game 7 as well too is just very interesting itself. But the Sabrina winning that game, and then the Liberty actually winning the finals, and I guess the Eagles did eventually go on to win the Super Bowl as well too, but her play taking place in the finals and the logo 3-game winner, it might have to be Sabrina in this case, honestly. Or, again, the Barkley one is tempting just because it's just the most in the course of action play that we have. But best record-breaking performance, Alexander Ovechkin scores 895th goal. Caitlin Clark has 6 WNBA games with 25 and 10. Gino shout out Gino from UConn, but 1,217 wins to pass Tara Van Dever. And Kevin Durant breaks the U.S. all-times Olympic record. So that's difficult to have 3 career ones in there because, I mean, shout out to Caitlin Clark, of course, she's achieving historic things, but we have 3 career achievements in here where even those are individual games across the course of, could be one season, maybe, more so, or who knows. But Ovechkin breaks a Gretzky record. Gino has probably had the best career of anybody here. That's tough. I mean, him and Ovechkin is pretty close, I would think. I don't know. We have to give the hockey people their respect. They can make their case, I guess. And just anybody breaking a Gretzky record would have to be impressive. But I feel like Gino might have to get the win with his dominance at UConn. That's where I would probably lean. But also leaving out Durant is tough as well, too. The U.S. Olympic scoring record is a pretty crazy, pretty historic achievement. And he's been, again, a great presence in Team USA as well, too. It's not like he's a guy that's just been on a bunch of teams and has the record. He has moments on the team as, like, a lead guy. But best NFL player, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, Lamar Surtain, and the Lamar Surtain. I was going to say, where's Mahomes? But just those 4 guys. Allen got Lamar for MVP, though Saquon did get nominated for best play. But this could be like the voters were thinking, okay, Josh Allen, he wins the MVP, but Lamar wins the ESPY? I don't know if that was in the thought process, but I feel like that might be what happened. That might be what happens. It feels like for this type of award, I don't know, the ESPY award just feels a little different than the MVP award. Feels like maybe Lamar gets that one. Though, again, Saquon's got a case. Saquon has a case. Shout out to Surtain for getting on here. Maybe Surtain gets the win just because he's on the list. Like, why is Surtain on the list? I mean, again, not why, but it just is he. I guess maybe this is him being sneaky, that marketable guy that I'm not respecting him for. But best MLB player, Ohtani, Judge, Freeman, or Tariq Skubal. Shout out. But, I mean, is it not Ohtani still for baseball? Judge is having a good year. Freeman, of course, with a great championship performance. But I feel like, hey, for my limited knowledge, still got to be Ohtani. And best NHL player, I guess McDavid didn't get nominated for best NHL player. Nobody from either of the championship teams. Leon Draisaitl, Nikita Kucherov, Cale Makar, Connor Hellebuyck from the Winnipeg Jets. I don't know why. Hellebuyck? Hellebuyck? Connor Hellebuyck? Maybe he's the winner. Cale Maker? Is a Cale going to win best NHL player? I feel like if it's not going to be Connor McDavid, it's going to be Connor Hellebuyck. It's got to be a Connor something. That feels like a good best player. Or Leon, obviously. I think Leon could win the... Oh, he won the Hart Trophy? Oh, in 2020? So, I don't know. Either one of those guys potentially. Best NBA player? I mean, Shea got nominated for best male athlete. I guess so did Josh Allen. We're telling Lamar's going to win, and Josh Allen and Saquon both got nominated for best men's sports. So, I guess we're going to say Saquon wins for best... Because Ohtani's going to win for best... Did we say who's going to win for best male athlete? I don't know. Probably Ohtani, right? But is Ohtani the only one that's actually the best at his sport? I don't know. So maybe he wins that way. But not Cooper Flag. Nikola Jokic, Giannis, Shea, and Tatum. But maybe Shea again wins because he's got that other nomination. Best WNBA player, A'ja Wilson had that going for her as well too. But Caitlin Clark and Breanna Stewart, I guess, did Stewart win? Stewart won the MVP this past year, so that would be a case for her. But if Wilson's getting the nod already, so I mean, we're not going to argue against it. Best soccer player, I mean, is it going to be? Is there anybody from Chelsea on here? Okay, nobody from Chelsea. So, I mean, shout out to the fact that Pulisic is nominated amongst. I'm gonna have to ask Sam about this to see how legit this is, because again, you could actually make the case that, and well, I guess it wouldn't be necessarily a crazy case, but you could make the case that these aren't the top 4 players in the NFL. Like, could you find 4 other players in a list? Just a list. I guess you could find a list, but again, like, could there be a reasonable 4 that you could find better than these 4? I mean, we brought up Myles Garrett already. If we went Myles Garrett and Mahomes, that's an easy one too. I don't know why we would leave Hurts off of these lists after he's been in 2 Super Bowls at this point. but and played well in both of them, and arguably outplayed Mahomes. He definitely has a case, for sure. So, I mean, the receivers, like, just go through all the receivers as well. We're not even talking about offensive linemen yet. Just pick the peak of their powers, offensive linemen. Trent Williams, all these years could have been nominated as well too if we're just going best NFL player. So for best soccer player, again, is there a list where Pulisic is like actually the 10th best player in soccer? The point being, does US have that type of guy? And I know that was always the talk about with Pulisic, but it's like, okay. It's like the NBA thing. We just never know. Is which of the franchise guys are going to be the ones that actually emerge? So the fact that he's on pace, because Lamine was another one that we've heard on this pod talked about as a up and coming name in soccer to watch before people were kind of starting to talk about him. And next thing you know, he's getting nominated at the ESPYs. It is what it is. But best driver, I know Verstappen's not in the midst of his run, but Alex Palou, Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Joey Logano. It might be Piastri. My brother's kind of an F1 fan, so not kind of, he is an F1 fan, and I feel like if he's ever watching a race, if we're ever in the same room, he's got the race on. If I feel like Piastri's been up a couple of times that I've seen. He's won 7 Grand Prix across 3 seasons. Logano, he's been around, I feel like, for a little bit. So I don't know if he's still in the case. But maybe the Indy guy gets it. Win the champion, where he won the championship 21, 23, 24. Oh, he's on a three-peat? Ooh. Yeah, maybe it's his time to win. Again, with maybe Verstappen. I don't know how his run, because, yeah, he won the consecutive titles to 2024. So I'm guessing he's already won this award a couple of times. So maybe it's time to give the IndyCar guy a chance. Best golfer, Scheffler, McIlroy, Nelly Korda, and Maja Stark as well. So she won her first major title at the U.S. Open this past year, and Korda doesn't say right away, I guess, what her championship listings are for this past season. But again, with McIlroy getting this past Masters, that would be a pretty big piece of the puzzle for him getting that achievement. Best boxer, Katie Taylor, Clarissa Shields. Chat, it's probably gonna be this guy. I think he didn't lose, right? But did he get knocked down? Usyk, also getting nominated as well too. So I think he's still. Where is his record here? Has he lost? Yeah, he's 27-0. So I don't know if it's gonna say where he got knocked down at, but there was a fight. I don't know, again, if it's in this past cycle or if I'm just thinking about it from his career in general, the one time he got knocked out. But that's the point, it's just the one time he got even knocked down. And literally everything KO, TKO, nothing go. Last time he went the distance was in 2019. Whoa! Hey, so that's actually, a good thing in this case. But Usyk as well, too. I feel like he is off a loss, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Usyk! Sorry, I didn't mean it. Back-to-back wins. Fury's the one off the loss. Tyson Fury. Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, taking out all the opponents. So Usyk's got a case as well, too. But I feel like his run has been pretty crazy. And Tyson, well, here, let me go back and see. Tyson Fury, he hold up in those fights. I guess decision, split decision and unanimous decision. So, while he got good wins, our guy's not even taking guys to the final bell. But best UFC fighter, Duplessis, Kayla Harrison, Islam Makhachev, and Merab. So, I mean, shout out to Kayla Harrison. Is she number 1 right now in the women's power five ranking? Again, that's not the determining factor for whether or not you need to be nominated here. She's having a great run as well, too. And, I mean, if she's not currently, it's not like she doesn't have that ability or very well will be soon. So, again, I'm not doubting it. But if we're just talking about the current state of things, Islam has been the number 1 for some time. He hasn't been as active. I guess Kayla Harrison maybe has has she had more fights over the past year than Islam? But wait, are we just looking at all the athletes right now? We want the actual just rankings of the athletes. Men pound for pound. Ilya, oh, I guess Ilya is up for number 1. So even that, but that's, up until Ilya's last fight, which is like within the past month. So the 11 of the last months, Islam has been the number 1 pound for pound guy. Maybe John Jones was number 1 for a while there, but Islam's been at the number 2, and Jones was, and neither of them were active for a while there. So it's like, okay, he's been at the top of the fighting game, at literally in the rankings for quite some time now this year. Okay, so she's number 3. Shevchenko and Lee, I think, is her last name, but I don't remember exactly how to say the first name. So I guess, just shout out Shevchenko. Like, she is definitely still, again, at the top of her game right now. And hey, Kayla Harrison, have they fought yet? I don't think they have. Oh yeah, she fought Pena last, and she hasn't really. So that would basically lock in a Shevchenko matchup. Oh, I guess we're looking at the pound for pound rankings. They probably, are they not in the same? Well, I guess they could move around potentially, but I don't know what the potential competitiveness would be there from Shevchenko to challenge the bantamweight class. In this case, I'm just not sure what her history is with that weight class, but yeah, Harrison's right there for sure, and I guess her getting the belt is pretty crazy. So I guess, yeah, you got the top 3, each number 1 in the 3 divisions, as the number 3 and the top 3 in the pound for pound. Not like there's an overlapping, from the flyweight or something, or one of the other divisions in the mix as well too. But I would say Islam, just because, again, he's been the most consistent at the top of the fighting rankings the last 12 months. And then the best tennis player, Sinner Alcaraz, Coco Gauff, in Arna Sabalenka, who is currently ranked number 1 in the Women's Tennis Association and former number 1 in women's doubles, has won 20 tour level singles. So can we get, because Sinner has also been number 1 for a long time as well too, and Coco Gauff had an amazing tournament winning was it the French Open that she won? She just won, or did she win a tournament on the French Open? She won a major tournament recently, and it was a really incredible thing to see her talking about her past and then the manifestation of that now currently with her winning. But I don't know if she's had the run at the number 1 spot maybe the same way a couple of these other ones have. We'll just have to look here and see. But for the singles tournaments, 2025. Okay, so she won Wimbledon in 2024. I guess 2025. When is WPT? Oh, that's just the whole tour, I guess. Oh, so she won the tour. I don't know why I was thinking W. I was just okay. W. She won Wimbledon, the French Open. Is that not what it is? Oh, so Coco Gauff got the win over her in the French Open. Oh, so okay. Oh, but this was 2023. Okay, that's not this past French Open. So 2024, she won the singles title, and then I guess well, I don't know how to read this apparently on the Wikipedia page. Oh, tournament finals. Here we go. Oh, so she has lost the past 2 this year in the French Open. So she did lose to Coco Gauff in the French Open this year, if we remember correctly. Current champions? Yeah, Coco Gauff. Okay. But, again, got to the championship, got to the Australian Open, the US Open, and the Australian Open. So 4 tournament appearances this past year and 2 wins. Maybe 3. I don't know if it counts. Again, what are we counting in the calendar window? But here, wait. Let's go back to Coco Gauff and see what her... And that's not to include the whole tennis tour as well too. I know we're just being very basic by looking at these simple, just major stats, but she got so that's her only major appearance this year. So again, now only she won it. It is what it, and she has, if we're just going the career total thing, she's gotten a win over Arna twice. So even though she sounds like a Game of Thrones character, Coco Gauff has still been able to get the win. So I don't know if she just has her number there as well too, but also that surface has definitely, I guess, clay, twice she's been able to appear in the finals, once winning it. But I feel like she might have a case to actually get Coco Gauff in this particular award. But it might be Sinner and Alcaraz, but Sinner just beat Alcaraz in Wimbledon as well too. Like I would personally want to vote for Alcaraz, but I think it might have to be Sinner. In 2024 he's got to five majors, 5 Grand Slam tournaments, I guess. Australia, and he's won 4 of them. He lost the French Open to Alcaraz, so shout out to Alcaraz there. But the other Australian Open, U.S. Open, another Australian Open, and then Wimbledon this past time as well too. And this was a fun Wimbledon with both of the competitors sort of being next generation guys, because I feel like last year even, let's see, past champions, gentlemen's singles. Can we get a history of this? I feel like last year even didn't Alcaraz get a win over Djokovic in the finals? Let me see here if I am not mistaken. Oh, 67. We don't want that Open era. Oh, wrong way. Here we go. Last year it was Djokovic versus Alcaraz. So Djokovic has been in the Wimbledon finals every year since 2018. I hadn't realized it was that crazy. That is ridiculous. Shout out. I mean, Jokic. I'm calling him Jokic. Novak Jokic. Novak Djokovic is, of course, one of the best ever, if not one, the GOAT. Is one of the best to ever do it, but is, of course, annoying to root for because I was liking Nadal and Federer at that time, but now you have to definitely recognize the greatness. This is an incredible run for sure. 2018 through 2024, but, still Federer in 2019, and then Euros in 2022, and then Alcaraz in back-to-back years, but it's a little bit of a changing of the guard type moment, and Sinner versus Djokovic would be even the same type of thing, where it's like, okay, it's now just Djokovic having his, Djokovic, the greatness is sustaining, and he's just continuing to, and I think Sinner did get Djokovic in this tournament as well, too, this past tournament, but for both guys to be next face up, and, again, not Djokovic in 17, but it's Federer, and then Andy Murray, so Andy Murray won a couple Wimbledon, shout out, and he is, because of those Wimbledons, I mean, he's a legendary guy from this time. He is not, big 3 status with Nadal and Djokovic, Murray, and Federer, but he is right there. He's the next guy that everybody thinks of from that time, I would assume, at least for the people that are knowing those tennis names from that day. But outside of Murray, and again, this is not them necessarily winning the Wimbledon. I'm guessing, wait, is this a winner's column right here? Okay, so it is them winning Wimbledon. None of them got upset by a name. Yeah, and I guess, again, they're kind of just playing each other. I like Tomas Berdych in 2010 got the win. Is that Hiddleston? I'm not exactly sure. Or Andy Roddick in 2009 for Federer. But just either one of them, any one of those big 3 being in the Wimbledon Championship, we got to go all the way back to 2002 before we get that. And then Federer had his run at Wimbledon. Nadal kind of joins the mix there as well too. And now 2025, Sinner and Alcaraz in the Wimbledon final officially pass the mantle to the next generation again. I did not say that Djokovic can't be back as well too. I guess I'm not the one to necessarily be able to say that and project out for the tennis stuff, but I would assume Sinner has a great chance to win this award as well too. But we do have a game to watch tonight, chat. Make no mistake, we're getting we're feeding a little bit to watch some sports. It is what it is. We've had a good run watching some movies, listening to some albums. We're definitely going to continue to make that a heavy focus this summer, but we're also going to sprinkle in, some old historic rewatches in there because make no mistake, I just want to watch a couple old games myself. I want to go back and see what's going on, and I just like watching old games. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to choose a game. So we got a way to do it, and pause, and we're going to fire up an old historic game from, we don't even know what sport yet, chat. We don't even know what sport yet. The only way to find out is to stay tuned and figure out which game it will be. Coming up next. Oh, there. Okay, we're back. Welcome in, chat. Hey, yo, it is what it is. Sorry about that. We are live again. But like I was saying, we are going to try to watch a historic game tonight. We're going to try to go back in time and watch a classic championship matchup of some kind. And ChatGPT is going to help us pick a game. I have a list of games typed out, so we'll have it random select a game for us to watch. And it's gonna be from any of the four main sports that REMINGTOM like, with or I say REMINGTOM follow most closely, with pro football, or pro or college football, pro or college basketball, any of the championship games, and we're gonna stick with the anniversary theme as well too. So it's on the intervals of the 5-year anniversaries from right now. So it will be any of the championship games in those windows. And I do have the options typed out already. Ayo, saving us some time to help pick a game. So this is our list of options. So yeah, again, NBA Finals from the various years, the anniversary years. NBA Finals game, a Super Bowl, a college football championship, or a Final Four matchup as well too. We could dip into a college basketball game. That could be kind of a fun one. I feel like that would be maybe the most, not most new, but the odds that I've seen that historic game are probably a little lower, especially the even more. I guess we're only going back into the 70s. I say only the 70s. Some of the old timers are gonna get mad, or they're gonna be not mad. They're gonna be happy that I just said only back into the 70s. But even some of the sports going back to the 50s and stuff, we could go even a little farther. I guess the tapes would be the hard. Don't ask for it to select Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game because we don't have footage of that. But any of these championship games are the options. So I guess we should just actually ask it, not just be like, hey, these games are cool, but pick a random game for us to watch. And let's see what it gets. Game 5 of the... Whoa! That literally is not even... ChatGPT, you're such an idiot. Hey, yo. We just did all this work to pick a game. And it gave us the 1997 NBA Championship. Oh, okay. So it didn't even give us one game. This is a disaster, chat. This is a disaster. It could be anything. 1983 college final, the 1983 Final Four. I mean, that'd be a great game to watch, but that's just not even what we asked. ChatGPT. I mean, college football really, or ChatGPT is really, maybe even way farther behind than we think. So we're getting. I guess it's Bills Giants Super Bowl is the pick. It's okay. It's the hidden option. I guess it is also the Rose Bowl as well too. Technically 2006, but the 2005 college football season. Okay, chat. You talked me into it. It is what it is. We'll watch that one. Let me fire it up. There's no way there's not if there's not a full version of this game on YouTube, then that's just a loss. But the idea of, I feel like, just has ESPN just like put the full game out, or whichever broadcast thing this aired on at the time. I'm assuming ESPN, but you never know. You never know. So we'll see. Of course, Vince Young and the Texas Longhorns versus Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush, and the USC Trojans. It could arguably be the best game that we gave it an option for. That is a crazy statement, because again, I mean, these are all championship game options. These are all, there's just incredible options sprinkled throughout. But this is arguably the most iconic of the games. I mean, I could just go Texas USC. Oh, of course, chat. Of course, there's the highlight videos. But here we go. We do have a version of the game that we can watch here. This is an iconic game. This is just probably a great game to just, again, go back and rewatch. Anyways, Vince Young's legendary performance. Spoiler alert! But we all know, of course, his game-winning touchdown, 4th and 5 with 19 seconds left. Possibly the greatest college football game ever. According to, ChatGPT is not getting a lot of things right here. It did not give us basically anything that we asked for, but it is not necessarily wrong. when it says that this is arguably the greatest college football games of all time. I mean, let's just see what are the greatest college football games of all time. This is got the Doug Flutie Hail Mary game has got to be in there. I don't know. Texas versus Alabama Rose Bowl. Alabama versus Georgia. Whoa, Tua number 2, according to the GPT. Oh, Boise State versus Oklahoma. That one is probably number 2. If you're just thinking iconic games in back-to-back years. So college football peak, but you also had Tebow as well. So is this the peak of college football? Wow, I never even really thought about that. But was the mid 2000s, the early peak of, maybe that's not even a hot take as well. But again, that's sort of right as we're barely just watching sports. And if we are, again, we're not necessarily watching sports with storylines and or storylines, or even, again, it's just watching sports. So even a greater sense of what sports is comparatively at that point. All of sports is just awesome, and it's new, and it's, again, for people in my age range at this time, for the 05 championship game, Texas, or 06 Rose Bowl, 05 season, 06 Rose Bowl, Texas versus USC. Any memories from this time is going to be nothing to compare it to. So it's now going back and putting everything into context and being like, that game is awesome compared to this or whatever. This is not a game that I even watched live in the moment. I'm trying to think if my mom has said anything about watching this game live, because I think she has said that I will have to ask her if she saw because I think she watched the Boise State Oklahoma game, 2007 Fiesta Bowl. Of course, the newer games, I guess we would have made sure to have those on as well too. 94 Colorado, Michigan. We're not going to talk about that. 1984 Orange Bowl, Miami versus Nebraska. In 1971, Nebraska, Oklahoma, game of the century. Number 1 versus number 2, Thanksgiving Day. Johnny Rodgers' legendary punt return. Old school Big 8 brawl with modern implications. Whoa. So this the tagline for a IMDb documentary on this movie. Or the 2013 Iron Bowl. That might be number 3, honestly. The 2013 Iron Bowl. That might be the best play in college football. I guess this arguably does have the best play as well too, the Vince run. I guess the thing that the punt return or the kick return, or not even kick return, the missed field goal return would have over the play would be, one, sort of the uniqueness of that play of a touchdown off a missed field goal. It literally never happens. And just the difficulty of any type of kick return for a touchdown in general, even if it's off the uniqueness of that type of setup. But the legendary implications of this play, Vince Young versus USC, could make that the play's maybe a little bit more iconic, but it's close, And again, this is definitely the most iconic play for. If people in my age range didn't watch this game or don't really remember quite this game happening, then the Iron Bowl game is the most iconic game/play, I think, as well too. Because the Tua game, I think it was it was I guess a good game, but it was an overtime game, 26-23. College, I guess it's just one overtime if ChatGPT is getting that right. But again, the Alabama didn't play a great first half, so it's not necessarily the greatest game, I would say, to go back and rewatch. But the Kick 6 game would be pretty great. 05 Notre Dame versus USC, the Bush Push. So the OG version of and the 19 Bama versus LSU. Chad did good list. I guess there's probably a lot college football. There's gonna be a lot more games to choose from than like NFL games. And you pick 10 games. It's gonna be difficult to choose 10 bad games. But they did it. They did Michigan some justice by leaving off a couple, because there's even a couple other highlight. Like there's the 06 game or the 07, which are the Chad Henne. I don't even remember who the quarterback was for the other team at that point, but that was like a 1-2 legendary matchup game, of course. But USC was number 1, Texas was number 2. I'm guessing USC had just won that title the year before as well, because again, this is the 4-year run for these quarterbacks. I guess it's not college basketball per se. You still do have the guys playing the run, but Leinart was a good quarterback that he had. Did he have all 4 years, or did he have a 3-year career at USC? But okay, he did have a 3-year career at USC, but I mean, it was 3 incredible years. Heisman voting every year, including the win in 2004, and he won the championship as a rookie. Yes, in 2003, the season before, against. Oh well, that's why we don't remember that game, chat. And I guess we don't really need to go back and look into that, dig up that history. But the next season. 04, and I guess 04 would have been the season before anyways. A dominant win versus Oklahoma. So sorry, Oklahoma fans. Personally, I have no problem going in and looking at the box score for this one. So we can go ahead and do that. But 55-19 in that game, and this would have been... So yeah, Leinart off of the Heisman and off of the national title game, of course. So this would have been the Bush Heisman season at 18 touchdowns, 2,000 yards from scrimmage on 237 touches. And Lendell White just chilling. And actually had more touchdowns. Whoa, Chad. You don't hear about that. But Lendell White having more touchdowns than Reggie Bush by quite a bit as well, too. 24 rush touchdowns. I guess there's probably some goal line stuff. And, Reggie Bush definitely a part of getting them down to the goal line. But still, you got to give him his credit where credit is due, because Reggie Bush didn't really have the receiving touchdowns. And to be honest, again, the receiving production overall is pretty similar. It's Reggie Bush as a runner, because for the NFL stuff, it's the two-way stuff is sort of you kind of remember that as part of his game. And, again, looking back at some of the college stuff, it's like he was just as dynamic as a runner, straight up, as any of the runners that have ever played in college football as well too. But Dwayne Jarrett had 16 touchdowns, and then Steve Smith, I don't think this is Panthers Steve Smith, is it? Yeah, okay, Giants Steve Smith. I was gonna say Panthers Steve Smith went to Maryland, if I'm not mistaken, because wasn't that part of the reason that DJ Moore was getting comped to Steve Smith? Oh, Utah. Okay, never mind. Just because he was, I guess, kind of like Steve Smith. But I don't know, some Utah people may be thinking it was Maryland. I don't know if that's ever been mixed up before. But, yeah, so, you have a Steve Smith, who, again, was a second-round pick. So, shout out. John David Booty, just hanging out there as the backup quarterback. But they had 82 touchdowns on the year. I don't know what the record is for most in a season, but to have 3 guys on a team over 15 seems pretty crazy. I don't know if we can go look up... here we go. Leaders. Actually, I wonder if we can find the passing game, or just touchdown leaders for team stats. Total. Oh, this is total offense for players. Still, I would think. I don't know. Do they have coaching leaders? They don't have team leaders. But let's just go this past season, I guess, and see what the leader did this past year. Did Travis Hunter have all of those touchdowns just by himself? Let's see. Team stats. Can we get team offense? Okay, we're getting closer, chat. We're uncovering something. So if somebody had just randomly 100 touchdowns this year, it's like, okay, then that obviously doesn't matter. Wait, is this per game? What's going on? Passing touchdowns per game? Rush? I just can't get a total. Who just scored the most touchdowns in college football? Why is that difficult to try to look up? Anyways, I don't know. We're looking at either way 3 touchdowns a game passing and 3 rushing for Jacksonville State. So anywhere from 5 to you're looking at 6 touchdowns a game for the leading team. So pretty close. Miami could have. I guess we could look at their team page. Okay. We shouldn't just get mad. We should try to find an answer, I guess. But, 71 touchdowns this past year. So about 10 off. They could have been 1 more a game. It doesn't seem like that much, but that's still, a whole other drive that Miami is, USC is accomplishing in this 06 season. So, again, just the name value of the offense, it doesn't necessarily it's gonna have the stats obviously because it's a great offense, but it doesn't need this. Well, yeah, you get what I'm saying. Like the name value is there, where even if it wasn't the number one historic, you're still going, okay, it could go toe to toe with any of these teams, but it is also, again, just the number one most historic team. At also, like I'm saying earlier, maybe arguably the peak of college football. I guess the other, we really go back to college football days. But you can't really argue for some of those days as much as we maybe would want to. It gets to a point where you're like, okay, what was going on in, just any of the sports where we can't call this the best version of it ever being played. But, 70s, 80s, 90s, I guess it's definitely fun. Like Miami was definitely a fun, you get Miami, Notre Dame, Florida State, Oklahoma, all those just powerhouse teams. Texas is still a powerhouse team at that time, and college football still feels fun. At this time, again, you got USC, Texas still, LSU. Saban kind of bouncing around a little bit, but LSU is Saban. You've got Urban Meyer also bouncing around, but Florida at this time is a powerhouse school. Ohio State and Michigan are very, very high up in the rankings as well. So in Notre Dame, I guess, they at least were in the national championship game against USC the year before. So you have all of the major schools as well too being the competitive schools, because it has felt like there was a time where you go, okay, there are major schools competing, but it is still like, okay, we're just like diss all these schools. But you're like, okay, is this sort of a different, a alternate jersey version of the number one schools playing at the top of the rankings? But just the players, like we're saying, the name value. I guess the weird thing for it would be, and I don't know if this makes it more nostalgic for the college football era, but and is that Lendell White in for the touchdown right there? Just easily running in. So that is the goal line strategy. Just Reggie Bush gets Lendell White right down to the goal line. Lendell White gets in for the touchdown. School record 55 touchdowns. Shout out. And he was a fun backcourt mate to Chris Johnson, I think, as well too. They have overlapping seasons in the pros. I know he had some version of a fun backfield in Tennessee. Only a 3-year run for our guy. Shout out. But he did have a 1,000-yard season in there in 2007, 303 carries. So still, definitely getting the work. Oh, Vince Young and Lendell White paired up on the same team. Shout out. But I don't know if... So maybe it was just him and Vince Young running around back there. Kind of a fun backcourt. Ahmad Hall? I don't know. Who was there? Was like an Ahmad Green? Maybe for the Packers at this time, or a couple years later. 2008, they are 13-3. Okay, yeah, they have... And Lendell White. So he wasn't the 1,000-yard... I guess that's why he wouldn't have been the 1,000-yard rusher, because Chris Johnson would have also had been there. But he did have... What did he have? 15 touchdowns? Yeah, so 700 yards and 15 touchdowns? So wait a second. I'm going to figure out... I guess the running back life cycle is definitely a part of it. But do I have to, mute the Wikipedia page, or mute the page to not expose? Okay, it doesn't say anything happened on the tabs. So what happened to the NFL career? Was there an injury? Suffered a torn Achilles, and then missed the entire 2010 season. Hey yo, so what was he looking like going into that deal with the Broncos? He had just had that 700-yard, 15 touchdown season, and had been the 1,000-yard guy as the main guy. Again, is he going to be the best running back in the league as your main guy? But he could have it. I guess 200 yards the year before is not ideal. So it did kind of take a turn as well too. So he was, what's his yards per carry? Yards per reception. Yards per, 3 yards an attempt. He was kind of under 3 the year before as well too. So, again, just a little bit more of a goal line back as well too. But maybe that's the goal that that Denver was hoping to accomplish at that time as well too, because it felt like Denver had running backs. So yeah, he had 2,000 yards. Vince Young also had 200 rush yards himself. I guess Chris Johnson had 2,000 yards, I should say, in 2009. the year I would say it, quote unquote, start to fall off for Lendale White. It's like, oh, Chris Johnson's just the best running back in the league. He probably has to be out there quite a bit. Vince Young's, having a pretty good season himself as well too. 8-2 that year. Pro Bowl, AP Comeback Player of the Year, third in voting. I guess 7 touchdowns, 7 picks to 10 touchdowns is not the best, but Kerry Collins was 6 touchdowns to 8 picks. So, yeah, definitely. And 0-6. Oh man, chat. I can't imagine just being a Titans fan that year, just watching Kerry Collins just tank that season after Chris Johnson's having 2,000 yards and Vince Young is having, the best year of his professional career. 26. You're like, is it actually going to happen with Vince Young? But that's kind of fun that both of those guys did end up on this same team as well too in Tennessee. So you can't blame them for trying it out. So I guess I say a hesitant Cam Ward, again, only as a Colts fan, not as a personal attack at Cam Ward, not as we don't believe in Cam Ward, because I actually am kind of scared of Cam Ward in a way. I've been scared about every quarterback that the AFC South has brought in, but they've been scary. I mean, it is, if you look at the names, it's like, okay, the AFC South, the opponents the Colts have brought in, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, and then Cam Ward. That's a pretty good run. That's a pretty 3 competitive guys. I'm not saying that, Stroud is going to be a difficult one. That can they get a better quarterback than Stroud? Can you get a guy that gets as many wins in the impact? That's obviously a different question. But it's still, it's going to make you raise your game. It has the makings of what could be a competitive division. And the Lawrence thing is, a little bit different now than it was when he was entering the draft. But he's still not a talent. And regardless, if he's ranked the 3rd quarterback in a division, it's still like, okay, that's still probably a pretty good quarterback division, nonetheless. I don't know if he goes to any division and just immediately jumps up as what division is Trevor Lawrence the best quarterback, in? If he goes to the AFC East, you've got Drake May now as a young prospect. Oh, what a stop by the UFC defense on 4th and 1. Was that the first Texas drive of the game right there? Texas getting aggressive? You would think 4th and 1 might be like a Vince Young type call, but no, trying to go for the little off tackle type run, and it just doesn't work. Right behind the fullback, USC all over it, chat. Ayo. So, USC playing well to start. What's gonna happen? But again, with Drake May, you're probably gonna rather build your franchise around Drake May at this point, though it's not necessarily guaranteed that he's gonna be better than Trevor Lawrence. So was he better than Trevor Lawrence last year already? But still, you obviously got Josh Allen in that division as well too. So he's still probably 3rd in that division. The NFC North, you're gonna have Lamar and Burrow. So okay, that's 1-2. He's 3rd there again. If you just go through the list, it is a little bit interesting. But regardless, he's still a pretty good 3rd quarterback for the division as well. But yeah, Cam Ward. I guess the idea, too, of Cam Ward having a chance to be every quarterback, but the best quarterback in the franchise history. Oh, the trick play from USC down the sideline. Oh, the receiver overshoots the other receiver. Hey, yo. Do we need this is going to be like do we have to follow along with the rosters type night to see what's going on? Overthrown Reggie Bush down the sideline. But still, who was the guy making the pass? Shout out to number 8 for USC. People were like, oh yeah, number 8, USC 05, iconic. I mean, obviously, I'm sure he's a great player, but tinted visor is not helping as well. Oh, was that Steve Smith? Potentially. Let's see. Wait, we don't have jersey numbers? Oh, chat. Pro Football Reference. What are we doing? We're slacking. So wait a second. Oh, was that Jarrett? Was that our guy Jarrett? Oh no, wait. Steve Smith was is number 2. So Dwayne Jarrett is number 8. Okay, we got it, chat. We are locked in for USC's weapons. Do we need to get a little Texas roster update as well too to see the talent? And I guess we haven't even looked at the defensive side of the ball. I was going to say, whoa, Sark was like an offensive coordinator back then, but no, he's the coach now. It pulled up, of course, the current Texas roster. We got to go back to the Mac Brown days. Before Mac Brown was being replaced by Bill Belichick. And, much younger. The future is brighter coaches, of course. With Bill Belichick. Were they hiring Bill Belichick, or was the upside with, people that Bill Belichick's associated with? I don't know. But undefeated, of course. 05. Shout out. We've got Charles. Whoa, Jamal Charles was on this team. I guess I don't think about him going back to this team, but he would have been a freshman on this team, so still kind of, I guess, still very impactful, but not quite full. Yeah, just getting the brunt of the offense. 258 attempts in 2007, 1,600 yards and 18 touchdowns. Really showing the full scope of his powers. But yeah, obviously, if you have Jamal Charles and Vince Young, you're set up pretty good. And the defense was pretty stacked as well too. Brian Robson, but Aaron Ross. I thought this was sacks. I was saying 13.5 sacks is pretty crazy. Yeah, Robson with 6 sacks that year. Killebrew with 4. Aaron Harris with 4 as well too. And then a couple of different guys with 3. Oh, Arakpo is the guy. I was going to say, there was like a first-round guy that I'm thinking of. They had Arakpo as well too, even though he was only a 1-sack guy at this time. Michael Griffin in the defensive backfield. And then you have Ross in defensive backfield, as well as our guy Michael Huff. So shout out Huff, the All-American in the backfield. And Roderick Wright, All-American defensive tackle. Where did he go in the NFL draft, chat? Shout out. He did not apparently have the skills that the NFL was thinking was going to translate, because they took him in the 7th round. But regardless, All-American, shout out. The college talent was there, so you can't take it away from him. It is what it is. But USC steady moving the ball up the field, chat. Lendale White just plowing ahead. Ayo, pause. It is what it is. But ayo, chat, we just massive. Are we just gonna lose a massive chunk of this game and just skip to the second half? It is what it is. A full NFL game, or not NFL game, but just a full football game is quite a task at this point. So let's see what the second half of this game is looking like here to remember. Oh, okay, halftime. Going into halftime, it's 16-10 Texas. So, yes, Texas with the lead, of course. But also the fact that it's 16-10 means the second half is definitely where the entertainment's at. Again, iconic ending to the game as well, too. I think iconic fourth quarter and all that. But I don't know how much the scoring ramps up in terms of a one part of the game is where we get all the points sort of thing happening. So here we go, chat. This could be, not only the greatest game, but maybe undisputably the greatest half of football. So Texas at this point in the game, I guess we skipped a little bit too much. We're at 3rd and 6 on their opening drive. It looks like their first 2 plays were not very successful, but 3rd and 6 with 3:14 left, third quarter. So right starting, Vince Young up the sideline. Oh, Chatty overshoots his man. But yeah, they were, so now I guess 1 and 5 on 3rd down at this point too. We're going backwards to see how they got to 16. But was it maybe a defensive play, a turnover? It has the feeling of a turnover type. Oh, Pete Carroll's got his team turn the ball over look on his with his vibe right now, for sure. But we're getting the USC offense back on the field. Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart returns. Oh, a flag on the punt return. Some things never change, chat. The refs always getting overly involved. And just peak of his powers, Matt Leinart. Oh, I guess I don't know if I completed this thought earlier, but the idea of this era standing out compared to the other eras is the translatability of the top players, and I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but it's just that with a lot of the quarterbacks, and really throughout NFL history, it's a weird thing of some of the college quarterback correlation and just the quarterback star power in general. It is kind of crazy how it's really ramped up over the last handful of not handful of years, but the last 20 years or so. But the star guys, and again, even some of the skill guys as well too, where the 90s was definitely the 80s and 90s with the drafting and the ability to kind of correlate the best players in the draft to the drafting position is a little bit different, and the value of the certain positions as well too, where running backs were just, of course, way more valued, not just in general but in drafts, even to where they would be going. And even Barkley was the second pick in the draft, so it's not like totally new to not take a running back super early. But that part of it is new. It's not like taking a running back that high is a shocking thing in NFL history. But the guys actually being, of course, the top talents is a little bit of a different thing. So I know that the certain positions might be different to pick and choose about the success of those, but regardless, again, some of those are the star making positions as well too, and you just didn't quite have the college to NFL correlation the same way that you do now. And of course, it is still, you never know. Brock Purdy can be a guy that now all of a sudden is a starting level quarterback, really good playoff level quarterback, who was a 7th round pick, but kind of a okay college quarterback, college sort of storylines, team success, and all that different stuff. But you get Matt Leinart, Tebow, Bradford is around at this time. He's a number 1 overall pick, of course, and he had some injuries as well too. So it's not fair to say it about everybody, but and I think maybe Christian Ponder was a little bit later, and he was not necessarily like same type of college quarterback as these guys. But just a lot of these guys from the run you don't really have in, Vince Young as well too. You don't really have the same sort of NFL stuff because Roethlisberger, I guess you have that 04 draft, of course, with Manning, Rivers, and Roethlisberger, where you get 3 of the best quarterbacks in the league in one go. And Eli's at Ole Miss. Eli's definitely at a major college doing big things. But Rivers and Roethlisberger, I think, is this the second Utah poll of the night? Or now am I just thinking Utah and Rivers was somewhere else? Washington? He was somewhere out there. Oh, NC State. It was something in I knew he was something in red. I feel like it's a weird path to get some of these teams. But not necessarily the most powerhouse football program, I would say, for sure. But him at NC State and Roethlisberger at Miami, Ohio. I think I might be getting that one right. But he's at a small school as well too, so you wouldn't necessarily call them college stars. Though Rivers, again, is lighting up the stats in 2003, and he's 7th in Heisman voting, so he's definitely getting some recognition. Like, it's not like he's a no-name, but is he a face of college football at this time? Yeah, you got Jason White winning Heisman in 2003. Eli Manning in 2003 is, again, 3rd himself. You got Chris Perry and Sproles at Kansas State. Shout out to our guy Sproles for getting the mix. And Roethlisberger as well, too, is getting Heisman votes. So, I guess their college production was really as great as their draft stock was as well, too. Is that the modern NFL thing? Where it's like, okay, well, this guy doesn't produce in college, we'll take him. It doesn't matter. We don't care. We're not looking at the college stats. Though, maybe for quarterbacks, who knows? But then again, you get Jason White and, Simons as well, too, had pretty impressive stats. I don't know if he was like a major draft pick, though. Yeah, he was a 7th round pick, so, he didn't necessarily have that same hype. Oh, Lendale White got a run, chat. Lendale White with some speed. It is in the red zone, So he does get them inside the 5, and this is for them to tie/take the lead with a touchdown extra point here. But we get him trotting off. And Fitzgerald being second in Heisman voting as well, too. 1,600 yards and 22 touchdowns. That tells me that Larry Fitzgerald, he probably should have won the Heisman, and they ended up giving it to the quarterback, but maybe it was for the best, and he didn't get the Heisman jinx part of it. So, I mean, he led the conference in touchdowns the year before with 12, but I guess he upped to leading the nation in touchdowns and yards as well, too. 92 catches on top of that. So, yeah, 22 touchdowns in total. I mean, obviously, the legendary Larry Fitzgerald, shout out. But, yeah, this is, I think you could make the case for the best era of college football. So, there we go, chat. There's a score by USC. Another Lendale White touchdown. So, I mean, as you would look at the season stats, that is definitely the recipe of the team, is the Lendale White touchdown. But it is a major, major player in this game as well, too. He has been devastating around the goal line. And I guess them just getting to 16, he's got, or 17, he's got both of their touchdowns in this game. So I don't know if Vince, I don't know how many total touchdowns he ended up having. I don't know, did ChatGPT say there? Oh, yeah, so there's Jamal Charles. Oh, chat. Shout out Jamal Charles. He is one of the guys that I really did like watching at running back because he, speaking of dual threat, you got Reggie Bush on the other side as well, too, getting all the accolades and stuff. Like, I guess Jamal Charles did have probably the better NFL career than Reggie Bush. That is tough because, it felt like both of them didn't, and, against the running back lifespan of it doesn't help. But it felt like both of them definitely could have had some more successful NFL years. Like not more successful, but, they could have had more plus in addition to what they already had seasons. Where you have Reggie Bush, he had 2 1,000-yard runs. He had 3 seasons where he was, 900 plus there, Miami, Detroit, in his late 20s. And for the Saints, he's in the 1,000 scrimmage yards, 1,300 scrimmage yards as a rookie, 900, 800, 700, starts to go down a little bit. But then in the 1,000s, those couple of years there. So never made a Pro Bowl, which is kind of shocking, even though his stats did raise up there for a bit and did bounce around teams a little bit. So I know Jamal Charles definitely made a Pro Bowl, but did he make the All-Pro team as well, too? Is it 2 M's for our guy? Jamal Charles, what do we got going on here? 2 A's. Shout out. But he was 4-time Pro Bowl, 2-time All-Pro. And again, and he did play, I guess, till he was 32. I guess both those guys did play longer than I'm giving him credit for. But again, Jamal Crawford, I just keep saying NBA guys tonight. It is what it is. But 29 is, you start getting to your 30s as a running back, you do start raising your eyebrows, of course. But it dropped off pretty quickly there, again, with some of the injury stuff as well, too. So it really felt like, we even got robbed of the decline of the Jamal Charles. It's just Jamar Charles. Who are these guys? Jamal Charles, because, again, just like immediately injured and just not quite the same after that. But those back-to-back seasons, were pretty crazy. And, those 3 of those 4 years, it's not like he wouldn't have been crazy in 2011. And even as a rookie, only 2 games that year as well. So I don't know if, I guess we could see here real quick. Like, in his healthy seasons, what did he perform? And I guess in 10, he started 6 games. Oh, there we go. Okay. So he did play in some more games there. But, yeah, it didn't change the seasons in which he got hurt. But he is at 16, 15, and 15. Oh, wait a second. I did not. Okay. I didn't do the math right the first time. Shout out. 77 games played in those healthy seasons. We're taking the 14 games played in Denver out. Unfortunately for that. And, shout out to the effort. But it's not going to help his stats, unfortunately. So he is at AO, and I wasn't even paying attention. 77 games played for how many yards in those games? Over 1,000 yards in just rushing as well too in each of those 4 seasons. 5,000, so 1,300 rush yards in each of those 4 seasons. 77 games played as well too. So he's looking at, or 5 seasons. I guess because he's not playing 19 games a season. So that is going to change the math a little bit, I think. Oh, wait a second. Okay, chat. It doesn't matter. I can't do math. It is what it is. The nightly edition of Rem Fails at Math. We'll see if we'll see what happens next time when we get back there. But yeah, regardless, he is 1,300 yards in 15 and a half games each of the seasons. That's honestly probably not even too far off from the averages. So it's close enough to give you the range of the production that he's in. Oh, Vince Carter. It happened again. I mean, is Vince Young a little Vince Carter-y, though? I don't feel like it's too far off in terms of, I mean, in fairness to Vince Young, I think Vince Carter did have a better NBA career than Vince Young had NFL career. Vince Carter is he going into the basketball fame? I mean, he could be. But, he's jersey retired for a franchise as well, too. I don't think Vince Carter is jersey retired territory quite, I don't know if he's going to quite go down there for Titans history. But, yeah, anyways, I guess I was saying that about Cam Ward as well, too. The idea of him being the best quarterback in franchise history, because it feels like a lot of the guys are kind of almost already there, or the other legendary guys are, again, just so legendary. That's just a different thing where, we're not going to go who's the best quarterback in every franchise, but you can think of the obvious ones, and then even the ones where it's a debate, it's still debates of the previous guys. If it's like the Packers, even the Packers might not be a debate. It might just be Bart Starr, if you're really going history. Are we going Otto Graham then for Cleveland at that point? But, I guess Detroit, it's got to be Stafford. Like Goff, even if Goff wins the Super Bowl, is Goff going to be the best quarterback in Lions franchise history? I guess, it really, depends on how he plays as well, too, in that season, and if that were to happen. But he may be one, and then maybe Cam Ward. I guess we could just think it fit right now. Here, let me pull up the rest of the teams, because I guess Trevor Lawrence, like we're saying, it doesn't feel like he's on that trajectory anymore. Not to say that he isn't, I guess, for the Jacksonville Jaguars' sake of things, on the trajectory, but just the idea of what that franchise quarterback would have looked like. It's still not quite the peak for. I guess Burrow as well too. Burrow could definitely, but the thing is he already the best quarterback in franchise history? I mean, the thing is, they do have two quarterbacks that won a league MVP, Boomer Esiason and Ken Anderson, but it feels like Burrow's, his aura, but his clutch factor as well too is maybe over both those guys. But both those guys were in Super Bowls as well, so you got to give them their fair credit. But Josh Allen's an interesting one because Jim Kelly is such a legendary guy, and again, he was in 4 Super Bowls. So as much as you want to make, however you want to make jokes about that, we make our jokes about Josh Allen not even being in one. So this could definitely be a great season for it. But regardless, just in terms of Bills franchise history, unless he wins it, then, he would have to make it 3 more times just to match the Jim Kelly part of that achievement. But, Drake May's got, of course, a long way to go. Tua doesn't really feel like that's a realistic thing at this point. Stroud, but the Texans are so new that, of course, Stroud definitely doesn't have the most competition as well in that category. And the Titans are also, a fairly newer team, but they do go back to the Oilers as well. So, Dan Pastorini, is he in the mix? Is Dan Pastorini the best quarterback in Titans history? Is there Warren Moon, obvious. I was going to say, is there an obvious one that I'm forgetting? It's Warren Moon. So I guess Cam Ward does have a ways to go Ayo, because I was thinking Titans there. So if you do put Oilers in, and I cancel me now for thinking about Dan Pastorini first. It's because I had this. I guess I still have it. I don't think it's here in the studio, but I had this book of these greatest games, and it's like really old NFL games. So it's even older, but even before Warren Moon was in the league, I think it's like all mostly 70s. It might have even be a 70s book. It might have been like a grandparent gift, or a grandparent book that we stole. I don't know. That basically counts as a gift, I think. But Warren Moon was 84, so this book would have just been, he wouldn't have even been in the league at this time. So just from the Oilers standpoint of it, Pastorini would have been the best one at that standpoint. But either way, he was the quarterback of the Oilers in whatever game they were talking about in this book. It's this game against them versus the Steelers, and one of the receivers like drags his toe on the back line, but they called him out of bounds. Just another lucky break for the Steelers in the 70s. I think the book's just about the lucky break for the Steelers in the 70s, because I think the Immaculate Reception is also in that book. But Pastorini, again, was the quarterback in that game. So anytime I think of the Oilers, he's just always the first quarterback I think of. But it's like when I think of the Bills, I think of J.P. Lozman, because one of the early Madden games I had J.P. Lozman. I'm never going to think of Josh Allen as the OG Bills quarterback. I'm always going to think of J.P. Lozman. It is what it is. But yeah, so shout out to Dan Pastorini. He's definitely, a legendary quarterback. But unfortunately not the best quarterback in Titans history. Oh, a Super Bowl champion, though. Did he win with the Raiders in 80 or the Rams? Wait a second. 2 playoff. I guess he probably wasn't on playing in the playoff games the years he won the Super Bowl. I don't think the Rams won the Super Bowl in 81. Yeah, so it would have been the Raiders in 1980. Good call from Pastorini. Oh, yeah. Shout out. It didn't even have to step on the field and got himself a Super Bowl ring. Did play 5 games in the regular season, though. 2-3. Managed the ship. Things didn't go too south with Pastorini. Is this Ken Stabler? I don't think LaMonica was around. Stabler was the quarterback for... Oh, Plunkett. Hey, yo. Maybe Stabler did win a Super Bowl. He maybe won an earlier Super Bowl than this one. Because, I guess Stabler would have been in the 70s. So, yeah, Plunkett more into just the start of the 80s. Kenny King, the running back, 89-yard touchdown that year. Shout out. But probably a menacing defense as well, too, for them. Oh, they got the Raiders in the the Oilers in the wild card game. So, I don't know what Pastorini's... I guess, yeah, we did see his playoff history. It was only those 2 games in there. Okay, he was 2-1 in 78, so they were in a conference title. Maybe this is the game against the Steelers? Yeah, so, okay, it was a oh, no, this was 5-34. I don't think this was the game. I think that was more of a close game. Was it the next year? Yeah, it was the next year. So back-to-back years losing to the Steelers. Oh, chat, it is what it is. 11-5. Oh, back-to-back years in the conference championship game as well, too. So I don't know what happened to our guy Pastorini. Did he get hurt? Wait, was he not? Oh, was he hurt earlier? I don't know. Did I just not read the record right earlier? But 19 for 28 in this game, 203 and 1 pick. Oh, man. Bradshaw, okay game, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick himself. The rushing, Franco Harris, 21 for 85, and then 13 for 52 for Rocky Blair. Earl Campbell, 17 for 15. Whoa! I mean, if that is not a testament to the Steelers' defense right there, that might be... I mean, I guess I don't know where Earl Campbell was at in 1980. Do we have to go back and look at... Was he like 78 draft, though? I don't think that was crazy. Yeah, 78! So this was peak of the powers. A 1,900-yard season from Earl Campbell. I don't know, at the end of this, 3 years of just 400 carries and 400 touches and pause and, some couple of playoff runs. He had, I was going to say 75 carries in 3 games, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, that playoffs. So, again, the usage was definitely there. I don't know if he kind of just burned out by the end of 80, because you see even his regular season accolades start to tail off there as well too. Like he's still in the Pro Bowl and stuff, but he's not like first team All Pro MVP level, like right away. And the injuries in '82 as well. Or was this the strike season? Was '82 the strike season? Was Mark Mosley the MVP? Oh, '82 was the strike season. Okay, never mind. I take it back. No injuries for our guy Campbell, but 14 games played the next couple of years, and then by 29 again, like most of these guys, he is stats start to take a different turn. So Vince Young fires across the middle. There we go, looking good, strong arm, 23-24. Action is the juice, chat. It's really starting to ramp up here as the third quarter winds down. So the greatness filter still keeps happening for this game. Greatest second half, greatest quarter. The fourth quarter of this game, greatest quarter. But even still, I think the fourth quarter would be a interesting conversation as well too, because that is the best quarter of a college football game is like that might be too broad, ayo. But the fourth quarter is going to have a natural intensity to it if it's a close game that the rest of the quarters aren't going to have. So the gravity of that's going to make it a better quarter in a sense. So the most competitive version of that is just going to be the best. So some of those other games could have a case as well too, or some other games that were just even worse through the first three quarters. Oh, there's Vince Young taking off, chat. A massive run gets Texas inside the red zone all the way across the field. Was that like a 60-yard run from our guy Vince Young? Hey, yo. Maybe Vince Young was a little bit of a too early type guy. I guess you could say that about any sort of mobile quarterback back in the day, because it does seem like, and the rules as well too. I mean, the rules that you have where the give the quarterback a lot of space to operate as well. But the way that the offense functions around a mobile quarterback, runs and all different stuff, like again, I'm just kind of spitballing here on how I just kind of spitballing on how football may have worked back in the day, just considering the fact that it's focused on running backs. But there's just going to be a different type of defense that is going to have to line up there. It's going to be heavier sets, different type of offense as well too. Heavier sets both ways, not as much space, not as much weapons to operate with. And is that going to affect the quarterback's ability to be mobile and to have the space to operate in these type of things? And Vince Young in 2025 is, maybe just a more lethal player. But again, speaking of Warren Moon in 2025, but Warren Moon, I mean, obviously, again, had a great career as well too. And he's a legendary, like, you don't want to take away a trailblazer from being a trailblazer as well too. Like, put Warren Moon in 2025. He's not to say that he's still not obviously iconic, but just again, he's gets to be iconic as a trailblazer as well too, and that's just a great thing. But he is a guy that, and he is, I don't think he was necessarily a mobile quarterback the way like Cunningham and Vince Young were, but Cunningham would have been a great one. Maybe there's obviously a certain component to it as well that could be factored into the opportunities allowed to certain quarterbacks, not even just the way offenses function, but just the opportunities allowed. But even, a guy like Fran Tarkington, Brock Purdy, is he a little Fran Tarkington-ish? But, even that type of mobile kind of run around in the backfield, play extender type guy. Because, I would have to go back and watch a lot more Warren Moon highlights, but I feel like Warren Moon is kind of, because I guess maybe Fran Tarkington is more athletic than I'm giving him credit for as well too. Maybe Fran Tarkington's more like an Alex Smith, maybe he could actually be like, you could actually run some option stuff with Fran. See, I'm thinking Fran Tarkington, again, I said Brock Purdy, but maybe more Russell Wilson without the yardage gained, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if he was necessarily like tucking and running the same way that Russell Wilson would have back in the day, but he was also like, Russell Wilson will definitely do that as a last resort, peak of his powers, Russell Wilson. So he's a little bit like that, but I almost think I'm really just now just completely imagining Fran Tarkington's game based on what I've heard. But I'm almost picturing a cartoonish level of running around in the backfield avoiding defenders, and somehow he's just slippery and getting away, and it's like, oh man, what's he doing? Like Staubach is like, see, Tarkington, I think of, and maybe I just, again, I could be totally right. Tarkington, I think of as a guy that's like slippery, running around in the backfield, making defenders miss. Staubach is, again, maybe more than Alex Smith. Like, he's like a mobile running around. Like, maybe you're actually running some, because he was, again, Navy. Like, you're running some option stuff there, I'm assuming, as well, too. So, big Dwayne Jarrett quarter, chat, third quarter. Shout out for USC. Really dominating there. So, again, Reggie Bush, the icon, but loaded with weapons all over the place. And is this a live Summer League game? I mean, this feels like, if it is, this feels like this might be the headlining game of Summer League. I know we had Cooper Flagg versus Bronny, Cooper Flagg versus Dylan Harper, Cooper Flagg versus anybody. But is this a rerun, or is this, I'm lost with the Summer League and the WNBA schedule, and if I'm on ESPN or ESPN Plus, I don't even remember at this point. But I think this is live. Yeah, I guess it's been going for a minute. I actually thought for a second it was Sports Center as well too, because I thought they were showing highlights from other summer leagues. So I was like, oh wait, so they're just showing a lot of highlights from this game. But it's Blazers Pelicans, and I don't know if that means anything by just saying those names. But we've got the Pelicans with Derek Queen. Of course, they trade the unprotected first round pick in next year's draft to move up 10 spots and get Derek Queen. And oh, chat, we've got a Nokia ad on the stadium at the Rose Bowl. Shout out. Who's calling my phone? Is it Stacy? Is it Henson Yang? Because that's the other guy in this matchup as well too for the Blazers. And that is two guys that can actually go up against each other on the court and guard each other in offense, defense. And Caleb Love in the Blazers Summer League team. Uh-oh. Look out, Scoot. The Anthony Simons replacement, Caleb Love. That's kind of a interesting move right there, but I don't know if he'll get the same amount of minutes, but he could be fun for Summer League. I'm locked in, Chad. I guess, again, this game's not just starting, but forget the 2006 iconic Rose Bowl. I'm going to be paying attention to Derek Queen versus Henson Yang and see what happens. But Leinart, 11 for 12 in this half, chat. Unbelievable. I don't know if we go back and look at the box score of this game. I mean, you think about if he wins this game as well too, he goes 3 for 3 in the national title. Like, he kind of solidifies himself as the best quarterback in college football history. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I don't know how you win 3 college football titles in 3 seasons, be, top 3 or whatever in Heisman voting, including a win, just dominant Heisman voting every year, and just the face of that type of team, and not be considered the great. And he might already have the case as well too. It's not too far off from him already being there. Let's see. I guess he was 6th in Heisman voting in 2005, or his rookie year, 2003. Sorry, his freshman year. But again, they won the national title that season, and he was 3rd in 2005 this year. But yeah, those 10,000 passing yards, almost 100 touchdowns, 99 touchdowns. He had a total of 23 interceptions, and 3 national title appearances. We should put it that way as well too. So made it to the national title game every season that he played. Again, it's basically the early 2000s. Again, this is the bias of, and it's the career factor as well too, because you have the individual seasons, of course, of Burrow and Newton. And I'm saying Burrow and Newton in terms of going backwards chronologically. I'd probably flip that in terms of the actual season that they had. I think Cam Newton's season, Cam Newton's season is just the most fun that I think anybody's ever, that the most fun that the people that have got to watch college football and also experience that season, whatever the Venn diagram is for college football years watched, and that Cam Newton season is included in it, like, that season is just probably the most fun that anybody's ever had watching a quarterback play football in college. But again, in terms of the careers, like Tebow with the Heisman thing, you have 3 top 5 finishes. He also has 2 national titles. Even though that first season, he's not really the main player. So you could say Leinart over Tebow as well too. And then I don't know, is Manziel? Is this the other guy, or was okay? I think we're arguing. Who's like an older We were bringing Doug Flutie back up. Ty Detmer. I don't know if we have to bring up any of the college guys or the Miami guys. I don't know, college guys. We're all college guys. The Miami Hurricane quarterbacks, of course, they had some great players as well too at the quarterback position, but really great teams and quarterbacks that were able to manage those teams greatly, and then because of that, of course, got some NFL love. And was Ty Detmer Ty Detmer I think was BYU even. I don't think he was Miami. He might have been. And BYU's had some good college quarterbacks. Yeah, BYU. So he was Heisman voting top 10 for 3 years. He didn't have the national titles and stuff, but had the stats for sure. So wait a second. Let's go career leaders here. And say, Lamar as well, too. We're talking the careers. We definitely got to include Lamar. I know he's not going to have the passing yards necessarily. Baker, for sure. I don't know. Did Baker win a national title? Lamar didn't win a national title. But the Oklahoma teams that Baker had, I think, were slightly better in the rankings. So he went 4th, 3rd, and 1st for Heisman votings. Top 4 3 years in a row. Baker has a case. 131 touchdowns to 30 picks. Ooh, chat. The problem is Leinart and Tebow, it is what it is. Their college career, and I think Baker has definitely turned it around as well too. And he's had better NFL success by far than Tebow and Leinart. And his Tampa run alone is better than both those guys' careers. And he has kind of turned it around to become almost a likable NFL quarterback, but he just didn't have a likable college career. He was, or I should say, a controversial college career. And unfortunately for him, Tebow and Leinart just didn't have. I guess maybe USC a little bit. I can't say too much. Maybe they were just more. They were just more dominant than the Oklahoma teams as well too. Again, Oklahoma wasn't winning national titles every year, but I don't remember the like. Did they have the scandals the same way that Ohio State did and stuff at the same time? I know Pete Carroll is not necessarily the cleanest college football coach, but still, I don't know if they had anything taken away. Reggie Bush up the sideline, diving pylon. Does he get in? Oh, he's at the 1. Oh no, they call him in. The refs were like, we've seen Wendell White taking too many touchdowns away from Reggie Bush tonight. We've got to give him at least 1. So no replay. No pylon cam back in 2005 as well, too. 2006 for the title game is for sure. So you got to... Okay, we got a little down the pylon cam. But no, they didn't think to put a camera in the pylon quite yet. That wasn't... an idea apparently until about a decade later. How long have we had has it been a decade of the pylon cam? Hey yo, chat. My, how time flies. But Vince Carter, here we go. Oh, Vince Carter. Oh, hey yo, Mark. We're just gonna have a counter for how many times I've said Vince Carter tonight. Probably even more than I've caught myself saying it. But yeah, so again, if Leinart wins this game, he probably solidifies himself in that case. And the other part, it's not just that he doesn't win this game, it's that, again, Vince Young is just incredible in this game. And just an incredible athlete and makes incredible plays and has an incredible fourth quarter game-winning drive here. And generally has one of the great college football performances that we've seen. So doesn't have quite the career start to finish that Leinart has, but in the moment had the game and had the season as well too. Again, he did win he was the All-American, I guess. Didn't win the Heisman. I guess, yeah, Reggie Bush was the Heisman this year. So I don't know, de facto Heisman now at this point. Or I guess now Reggie Bush his Heisman was reinstated, so it's back. But he was the All-American quarterback this year and did have an insane amount of touchdowns as well too. He had 26 passing touchdowns and 12 rushing touchdowns. 14 rushing touchdowns the season before to go with only 12 passing touchdowns the year before. So he's up in the near 40 touchdown category for a total season, which is pretty crazy in 13 games. And he led the nation in all the the advanced passing stats as well too. So I don't know if they were looking at that the same way and they were 05. But the retroactive of that is pretty nice as well too. Again, even with Vince Carter, just there's another one, chat. Even with Vince Young, or it's not even Vince Young, even with Matt Leinart, putting up great stats in the game. I just had to mess it up one more time. I didn't even have to call out Vince Young that time. I just had to. Now I'm even quite. Is Vince Young even his name? Who knows? But he is the guy that is awesome in this one as well too. What a basketball reference or college football reference with the crazy ads. Hey yo, chat. It is what it is. Sometimes they just pop in there. Pause. But yeah. So Vince Young. I don't know if he has the same sort of photos that we were being advertised there, but his performances, in some ways just as beautiful. Hey yo, it is what it is. Only a certain. Oh, wait a second. Would we launch other apps here, chat? Oh no, we just lost the game. Oh no. Okay, I think this summer league game was just starting up. I think I'm locked in because now we're at the 5-minute mark. So I don't know. They were showing. I don't know what was going on beforehand, but they just cut to break and I just saw Yang on the court. So I guess I wasn't locked in. I have no idea what just happened. I have no idea what was happening in that game there. But as long as our guy Yang is still playing, and as long as Queen is on the court as well too, that should still be a marquee matchup. So here, let me pull this back up. Okay, we're fired back up. And to be honest, I don't know. I guess how long has this replay version been out for? 6 years? A full replay of this game, it's got 127,000 views. Hey yo, you think this would, again, just in sports, would be one of the games that you go back and rewatch? Because college sports as well too, the fan base of that stuff is obviously about as passionate as you can get. So I don't know if it becomes sort of the, okay, USC fans aren't going to go back, so it's only Texas fans going back and rewatching this, and it's like, okay, only the Texas fans that are, going back and rewatching old games. But still, this is arguably just one of the greatest sports games of all time. And if we were looking at the list of games that we had to choose from as well too, I know like UNLV's Final Four run was on here, so that's pretty fun. The 2015 Super Bowl, we're not getting the Brady Super Bowl on either side. We're not getting the Seahawks Super Bowl or the Falcons Super Bowl there. So I think that, speaking of Cam Newton, I don't know if that's the one that we would have gotten, but I think so. And that just is a okay game. Rams Titans is kind of interesting. I guess maybe like a Lakers Celtics finals in the 80s, something in the 85 finals. Cuz 1990 would have been, and I guess Giants Bills, that Super Bowl as well too, is a pretty iconic game. Pretty iconic. The start of the Belichick stuff, and now, knowing what Belichick has, what has he become? But, the career that he went on to have, obviously. The starting point of that game makes that really iconic. But just the legacy value of this game, the entertainment value of it, this is probably arguably and I guess do any of the other games as well, too, just jump off as the greatest game for their given sport? I don't know if that is totally the case. So this one, again, not even for the bowl game, not even for championship games or whatever, but just straight up any college football game that's ever been played. This is arguably the best one. I guess if we're going any college football game, that highest scoring one, is that in the mix as well too? Was that LSU Texas A&M where it went 70-70? So just if you want to watch scoring and points produced, then that's obviously a great game to watch. But that game has a lot of overtime, so you really have to kind of skip ahead for that one, I think, to get a lot of the points. And again, I don't know if it was great iconic teams with great iconic players. We'd have to go back and pull up those rosters. But I think that game was just a little bit more entertaining by the score than it was more so by the play on the field and stuff like that. But shout out to everybody in that game. We're not trying to just disrespect those performances as well too. Oh, Vince Young. Oh, whoa, that was close. Vince Young, just sailing it right out the back of the end zone. It is what it is on a crucial. I guess it was first down there, not necessarily anything that. Okay, I thought I had done the due diligence and done the ad-free login. So, shout out. I am not necessarily gonna be the one to complain too much, but it's just more about a clean, easier to navigate experience. Oh, boom, perfect. I didn't have to meet the screen. It just auto-logged me back in. So, bam, perfect. I mean, as much as, we would love to uncover whatever Caitlin Collins photos are there. Whoa. Hey, yo. Whoa. Hey, it's just the internet pushing it on us, chat. We're doing our best out here, just looking at little basketball, football stats, and next thing you know, just like, you want to see this? I guess so. I don't know. I'm sure. But I'm just trying to watch Henson Yang play Summer League. Look up his scores. So anyways, okay, back to the Rose Bowl. Back to Vince Young. Wait, offensive lineman? We even check. Where did Jeff Saturday go to college? I think he probably would have been in the NFL at this point. Yeah, the Colts are going to win the Super Bowl a couple years after that. So he's right there with the crew of those guys. But there's got to be an iconic guy on one of these lines for sure. Okay, so a Texas field goal here, 26-31. So we know we're going to get at least, one more USC score? I don't remember. Oh, okay. Final score is right in front of me. Yeah, 38. So at least one more, or just one more USC score here. And then Texas is going to have, of course, a couple of drives to take this one over. 8 minutes left. Whoa, 93,000 in attendance in the Rose Bowl, chat. They got that thing packed out. If it is, of course, classic Rose Bowl. I mean, a college football venue, of course, you can get over into the 100,000s, but I didn't think the Rose Bowl could get into the 90Ks. I thought that was going to be more your traditional, like 70 to 75K. Yeah, Pasadena. So maybe I just am underestimating the capacity of the Rose Bowl Stadium. Let me see here what the attendance for the other games are. And if you really, bring out the folding chairs, then you can really, of course, make it work. Okay, I guess it is 89. Record attendance 106. 1973. So yeah, this is where the old timers are going to go back and argue and say that the 70s are the peak of college football, for sure. Can we get a history of the games at all? Game results? Is it going to have attendance on here? It does. 8,000 people at the OG Rose Bowl. Imagine, Chad. Imagine being one of the OG 8K at the 1902 Rose Bowl. Just watch. Is that because they showed up and Michigan was already just laying the smackdown on Stanford? They're like, hey, we just got here and it's 14-0, 21-0. We'll just go ahead and just let Michigan take care of this one. The next year, Washington State versus Brown, 7,000 people. They're like, we're not going back to that game. It sucks. The loser didn't score in in a ton of the original ones. 1922 Cal versus Washington and Jefferson. Whoa. It is literally two colleges. Was an independent football team that represented Washington and Jefferson College. Okay, one college. Am I right? What is it here? Is Washington and Jefferson one college? Okay, one college in Pennsylvania. I say imagine the Washington and Jefferson. That would be the next step. We've already seen conferences merge. Imagine. It's like Boise State and whatever other Idaho. They just absorb another Idaho school. It's like, okay, this is going to be the, I don't even, what would be a good, like maybe Cal? Like what if Cal, like they've been, like Stanford wouldn't need to merge with Cal, but, or like UCLA would need to merge with Cal. Or, Cal's too big to want to get absorbed by, Pepperdine and UCLA. The Pepperdine and UCLA Bruins. Or something like that. But, yeah, so I guess it is running pretty consistently 90 to 100K. as well too. Yeah, so the 70s you're at 100K almost every year. Whoa. It does go down to 86K in 2003. And then the last couple of years, it's been in the 90s at 21, 18K, 87, 96, 90K last year. So 96K for Alabama, Michigan. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy game. Penn State, Utah, 94K. People showing up. I guess the year after COVID, 87K is still pretty great. I mean, you can't be too mad about that. And that was a great game as well, too. Obviously, Stroud was great in that game. That is, you know, a weird game. We'll see how that one, like, lives on in terms of, you don't hear really people talking about that one, because you do hear people talk about the Sam Darnold Saquon game is an iconic Rose Bowl as well too. Christian McCaffrey the year before that with his iconic performance. So I mean, yeah, I guess no surprise that the Rose Bowl's pulling out attendance. I guess I didn't realize they're 90K every 100K every year. From let's see here. Oh, I guess 93 they broke the streak. 104. Washington versus Michigan. Just the attendance killer. Who would have thought? You think Michigan has the better attendance, but just everybody knows Michigan's going to win these games. So from, either way, all the way from 1969 to 1992, they had 100K every single year. And then in 93, they had 94K, and then from 94 to 98. So from 1960, for 30 years, 29 out of 30 games, they had 100K plus in a row. So it's difficult then to go back and say that the 2000s is the peak of college football. But again, it is a particular nostalgia that we have and a bias that we have that we're going to lean toward. So I don't know how to be unsubjective in that way. Do they have a random all-decade team on here? I know they would have that for the pro sports, because there would be, of course, publications that would give out, even though it's not like a technical award, they would give out that type of honoree from a super, notable publication, SI, or something like that. But at least for All-Americans, the 70s, okay, I guess if they got listed here by decade, we can see. Plunkett, who we got for running backs? Donnie McCauley, Steve Worcester, Chip Kell, not Chip Kelly, Chip Kell on the offensive lineman. Jack Tatum, defensive back, okay. Pat Sullivan, 71. Burt Jones, our guy Burt Jones, 72. Dave Janes. So maybe, it was the peak for certain positions at certain times. And maybe the 80s was peak running back. You got Archie Griffin going back-to-back Heisman in the mid-70s. Ricky Bell, Tony Dorsett. Okay, so mid-70s is where you really start. Earl Campbell is where you get the NFL correlation for the All-American guys. And I guess, what does the bold mean as well, too? Bold, or unanimous. Okay, the unanimous, the ones that really, really stood out for the individual season. So, yeah, Dorsett in his season for sure. Billy Sims, Oklahoma State, of course, iconic Lions run in there as well. But the 80s maybe has a better case. Let's see here. George Rogers, Herschel Walker, Mark May. Oh, I guess offensive line, not receiver. Mark Herman, the quarterback. Singletary and Lawrence Taylor and Ronnie Lott. Whoa, chat. There's no way. I don't know about the rest of this defense, but there's no way this is not the best All-American defense of all time. If you had you have arguably the two best defensive players of all time in college at the same time, in Lawrence Taylor and Ronnie Lott, and Mike Singletary, arguably the greatest linebacker of all time as well, too. I guess Lawrence Taylor, linebacker, but, pass rusher more so than middle of the field linebacker. So there's the USC score. So, yeah, they pull away, of course, here a little bit late. 38-26 with 6 minutes left. I guess it's one of those, drive math things a little bit, too, where Vince Young does have the chance to respond, so it's them getting more so one stop than it is, 2 stop. I guess however you do the math on it. But yeah, regardless, they're still having to make a 2-touchdown deficit up as well. I guess Herschel Walker, a couple of All-American teams. I guess back-to-back years. I guess, yeah, we're looking at the defense there. With Marcus Allen the next year, Jim McMahon, Elway Dickerson, Herschel Walker, Sean Farrell, unanimous selection. Andre Carter, shout out, legendary. Yeah, we mentioned the 80, so we're already in 82. 83, Steve Young, Irving Fryer, Mike Rozier, a couple of Nebraska guys just hanging out there. Reggie White, Ricky Hundley, Russell Carter, unanimous selection. Ron Rivera, shout out, making a All-American team. Flutie in 84, Chuck Long in 85. So yeah, the 80s, you really start to see the high-end quarterbacks do a little bit more trade. Vinny Testaverde makes a first-team All-American as well too. Don McPherson, and Aikman in 88. Andre Ware in 1989. But even still, shout out to Andre Ware. I still have stock. It is what it is. So it might be the 80s. It might honestly be the 80s that is the best decade of college football. Though the 90s, there's the Ty Detmer appearance a couple of years in a row. Oh, Brad Culpepper on the defensive line. Gino Tatora for Florida. Marshall Fall. Garrison Hurst. Okay. And some of the defensive names also as well, too. I mean, again, they're all great throughout all the decades. Desmond Howard, shout out. Making a all-pro team in there. Charlie Ward, quarterback. Kerry Collins, Kajana Carter, and Rashawn Salam as the All-American running backs. That's a fun 1-2 punch there. The 94 defense is also pretty stacked. You've got Teddy Bruschi, Kevin Carter, Luther Ellis, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Dana Howard, Ed Stewart, Clifton Abraham, Tony Bowie, Chris Hudson, Brian Robinson, and then Bobby Taylor as well too. Tommy Frazier in 95, Danny Warfall 96, Peyton Manning in 97, and Michael Bishop 98, Tom O'Burke, defensive line, and Joe Hamilton in 1990. So it is honestly the 80s or the 2000s. I think the 2000s might be better than the 90s. I think if there's one thing the 2000s is better than the 90s, it's college football. LaDainian Tomlinson, Andre Carter, Dan Morgan, Ed Reed, not a unanimous selection, but of course an All-American, as you would expect. Fred Smoot. I mean, how is Fred Smoot not on the... Obviously, he played the best decade ever in college football. Uh-oh. Okay. If Rex Grossman is an All-American, can it be the greatest decade ever? I don't know. That's a question that you guys will have to answer in our DMs at REMINGTOM Pod on Instagram. Let us know what you think. He did make a Super Bowl in the NFL. Bears defense was obviously great, but regardless. Jabbar Gaffney? I mean, he's fun. Maybe it is obviously the nostalgia. Because to me, Jabbar Gaffney being on the first team, it's like, yeah, Jabbar Gaffney, obviously, one of the best college receivers of all time. Jabbar Gaffney. It's like, or you just like the early 2000s era. Dwight Freeney, though, Jabril. Ooh, chat, this is another stacked one right here. Dwight Freeney, Jabril Peppers, Ed Reed. Ooh, what would you rather have? I mean, you still got to take the Ronnie Lott, Lawrence Taylor, Mike Singletary one. That's ridiculous, honestly. Quentin Jammer, though? Again, Quentin Jammer. One of the best defensive backs ever to play in college football. And Roy Williams. That's a stacked secondary. Quentin Jammer, Ed Reed, and Roy Williams. I mean, you better get it right with All-American list for sure. Carson Palmer, of course, leading USC before Leinart. And then Leinart taking the first team mantle as well, too. I guess in 05, the All-American team kind of was just unanimous in general. All of the guys were pretty obvious outside of Vince Young. But Reggie Bush and Dwayne Jarrett were both unanimous from USC, I guess. Roderick Wright on Texas, not unanimous. Michael Huff, though, defensive back was. And then you also have D'Amico Ryans, A.J. Hawk, Tamba Ali, Elvis Dumerville, in Jimmy Williams unanimous selections on defense, and Greg Eschlinger and Jonathan Scott on offense as well too. But that defense is sneaky stacked. I don't think it's all time stacked as the same way the other. I mean, it kind of is, but it's really balanced. I mean, Haloti Nada, Roderick Wright, Elvis Dumerville, and Tamba Ali is pretty balanced. AJ Hawk, Paul Posluszny, and D'Amico Ryans. I don't know if the secondary is quite the all-time secondary that you would need, but it's a really good front seven. That's a really, really good front seven. It's going to be difficult for anybody to contain. That's for sure. And then you have the Tebow run, Bradford in 08, Colt McCoy in 09. And Eric Berry. Yeah, Eric Berry is on this team. Joe Hayden. Sue is obviously all-timer. So if you have Sue on your defense, you're on pace to have an all-time defense. And Gerald McCoy as well. Jerry Hughes. I mean, pretty great. Rolando McCain. Spikes. Eric, and then Berry and Hayden in the secondary. Earl Thomas, of course, a couple of years later. Like, if Earl Thomas had been on this 05 Texas team, again, they win the title, so I guess we don't really need to do a retroactive. But that would have been fun to have him and Vince Young on the same college team at the same time. But he was great for those Texas teams as well, too, that almost won the national title back in the day. And Heupel, a first-team All-Pro, an All-American quarterback in his own right. 20 touchdowns, 14 picks will get you All-American, I guess, in 2000. LaDainian Tomlinson, of course, the dominance goes all the way back to the turn of the century when he was getting 2,000 yards at basically any level he ran. But more Lendale White in the fourth quarter. I guess they try to really milk the clock. They're like, okay, obviously if we put out there our slowest runner, then he'll take up the most time as he's running. But I don't know if that's totally how the math works. But again, either way, Lendale White was a good running back, good option anyways. And I guess the first Rose Bowl ever was Michigan, the biggest defeat ever, Michigan over Stanford. And also in 48, Michigan twice. Just 49-point wins. We're just unstoppable in Rose Bowls, chat. It is what it is. We're not going to talk about the fact that the next season they lose to USC. But the early 1900s, the 1940s, I mean, you could count on the Wolverines being a menace in Pasadena. It is what it is. Nobody wanted to face the turn of the century Michigan Wolverines. We were terrorizing college campuses all the way out. But on the football field, terrorizing college campuses, winning national titles, being the most dominant team the early 1900s have ever seen. Literally not even the 1910s. Literally just the 1900s. The 19-aughts. You don't hear people talk about the 19-aughts, but it was a time that Michigan dominated college football. Ooh, tough stop by the Texas defense. Lendale White almost plowing forward for the first down. I gotta say, Derek Queen, good move with the oversized t-shirt. It's definitely, giving you a slimming athletic, but also, again, speaking of mid-2000s, brings back kind of a mid-2000s aesthetic. I don't know if he is a guy that got comped to Elton Brand at all, but because, again, we're prisoners of the moments with some of the drafting comp stuff, and the players that are currently playing are the ones that are the easiest to comp stuff to. So you just have any now. Literally both centers in this game are being comped to Jokic. So like, if you just pass and kind of have a little bit of a perimeter game, now you're Jokic. It is what it is. But maybe Derek Queen's a little Elton Brandish. If you trade an unprotected first-round pick for Elton Brand, I don't think you could tell people that that's a bad move. I think Elton Brand had a pretty great career. So, if you have Elton Brand and who else did they take in this draft? Fears. So Fears, who's a good comp for Fears, chat? Undersized, scoring guard, early 2000s. Marbury? If you have Marbury and Fears, Marbury might be a little taller than Fears. But Steve Francis in Elton Brand, call it a win. Bring back the early 2000s, chat. We're getting nostalgic. Who would have thought? In some ways the worst decade, in some ways the best. Really, I think that is the definition of the 2000s was a real maybe a lot of swings, a lot of misses in the 2000s, but a lot of hits, and maybe the gap between the hits and misses were a little wider, or maybe some of the hits weren't quite. But it's the story of the 21st century, just trying to keep up with the 70s to 90s run of culture in general. But I think that is maybe why sports continue to increase in popularity as well too. Does that have something to do with it? Because you could argue that sports are the one thing that we are actually doing better, I guess culturally, you could have your arguments there, but in the entertainment sphere as well, you could argue that sports is the one entertainment product that is continually being a better product. And to be honest, we'll see what happens as the NFL continues to expand its schedule and change the days of the week stuff. But, again, up until this point, the NFL, you could say, is the one product that's consistently gotten better as well, too, over the course of the year. The NBA, up until the last handful of years, as they were peaking and as it has led into this new TV deal, they have definitely obviously gotten better. But, again, they've even now started to turn a little bit where it doesn't feel like the game has improved over the last couple of years, and it feels like people are definitely making that known. And the league is going to have to do something to increase the product and the quality of play for the, the general public. But, and this, maybe not the diehard level basketball fans as well. But the, just the, again, the sports compared to the movies and the TV shows and the music, you can just make a case that the decades that we mentioned, the 1900s, like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, each one of those cases has to be the best decade ever. And there's just amazing stuff that was put out that's just probably better than the stuff that we've had now. So outside of our leagues and our competitiveness, what is being on the screen and on the speakers has not necessarily, lived up to standard, Chad. It is what it is. We were just watching Ghost the other day. Like we were saying, Patrick Swayze. We haven't had another Patrick Swayze. We haven't had another Demi Moore. Where's it? I guess I'm not even saying where, but we haven't had another Whitney Houston, Chad. I guess this is all 80s. The Ghost was 90s. 1990, just right on the cusp there. So, and Whitney Houston in the 90s as well too. Bodyguard's 92. So shout out. She counts as 90s and 80s. Both just depends on what you want to say. But if we're taking sports, and even the 90s for sports as well too, like we were saying for college football, maybe that's the one where you could make the case. But the NBA as well too, like we're saying, the 90s NBA is obviously pretty great. I think the 20 teens with where we got to in 2016, by the end of the decade, it's a pretty great run all the way up until LeBron goes to LA. The run from LeBron in Miami to LeBron in LA is a really elite stretch of NBA history. But the 90s is great as well too, and same for the NFL. You've got the Cowboys dominating. The Niners are still really great at that time. The Giants are great. You've got a lot of your big market teams are really great in the 90s. I guess the Jets aren't, the Patriots aren't great. I don't know what the Bears are really doing in the 90s, but you get the Packers, a legacy team. They're great. The Vikings are great for a couple of years there in the 90s. So, yeah, that's more, I think more like end of the 90s a little bit. But, that's a fun decade for sure. I think that the quarterback play gets better throughout the quarterback. So quarterbacks, more specifically than just sports in general, for just things that we're doing better culturally now than we were 30 years ago, which isn't an interesting thought experiment as well too. Because if you really do think about it, you're like, okay, and again, I'm talking more entertainment. Hopefully there are things we are doing in society in the day-to-day. If we really look at it, I'm not the one to be able to sit here and say what they, because again, I wasn't even around in the 90s, so I can't tell you what some of the day-to-day stuff was going on there. But hopefully there is some stuff that we're just living life a little bit more, hopefully we're just improving as people as well too, and as a society. Oh, Vince Young in the back of the end zone. We got to lock in here, Chad. 39 seconds left. Second and 10. 33 and 38. Vince Young, can he be a hero? The replay, chat. Every time Vince Young pulls through, that's why he's awesome. He pulls through every time. Will it happen again tonight? We'll see what happens. But yeah, we are. I think we are doing quarterback play better. If there's one thing we're doing better in America in 2025 than we were, but the 90s, there are some fun quarterbacks with Steve Young and Aikman and stuff. But just top to the totality of the position. There's Young. The run bounces out, breaks a tackle. They bring him down inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. 30 seconds left. Timeout, Mac Brown. Here we go, chat. Setting us up for history. Vince Young, 20 years later on the anniversary, not the anniversary tonight, but 20 years later, remembering this. Remembering a missed extra point from earlier on. Oh, shanked it. Yikes. It is what it is. And 3-point shooting. 3-point shooting, we're doing better in 2025. We're doing better at quarterback play. I don't know if baseball has any major improvements, but other than that, it's not much. You could make a case that maybe some of the TV show stuff is better, but is it just more a quantity thing? So there are more better TV shows because there are more TV shows. So yeah, we're still able to have a lot of good TV shows, which is good. But also we're making a lot of TV shows. And we're making TV shows now more. It seems like there's more of a push for that than movies at this point for a certain type of expansive storytelling. So you could make the case for that. But even still, like, this is not the days of Mad Men, Breaking Bad, and what else? Sopranos and The Wire. Like, I don't know if all those shows were actually, if there was a year where all of those shows were actually on at the same time, then that's crazy. And again, all those shows are sort of that 2000s run as well too. So you've got good sitcom era in the 90s, but then even still into the 2000s with NBC carrying with some of the Office stuff. Just all the mockumentary stuff that they're doing in the 2000s is obviously really successful and really funny as well too. So TV, I mean, maybe a little bit more diverse, I guess you could say, but that goes to the case. Like, yes, we are making a lot of TV shows, but it is a lot of not the same, again, not even the same story, but the same sort of tone, maybe the same sort of just not necessarily the same sort of drama type stuff. Definitely not the sitcom and the funny stuff. Here we go. Vince Young bounces out to the goal line. Touchdown, Texas. Hey, yo, chat. Vince Young, an icon. Just an absolute icon. I mean, we haven't even gotten McConaughey on the sideline, but it feels like his presence is around. It feels like McConaughey, I mean, we really missed an opportunity of having him cheer for Vince Young in this way. Or we missed an opportunity for ESPN and ABC to be showing him a lot, because that feels like about as great of a celebrity star player pairing as you could have gotten. Like, shout out to Spike Lee and the Knicks, but I don't know if the Knicks had a star player as cool as Vince Young at any point in the 90s, or even, Spike Lee and Melo at some point. But in terms of bested his position at well too in college at the time. All-American in the Heisman voting, was the number one quarterback in the Heisman voting that year, again losing to Reggie Bush. But the coolness of him as a player and the coolness of McConaughey as a fan has got to be unmatched as a duo. I guess LeBron and Rihanna, does that count? LeBron as a player, Rihanna as a fan? I think if that counts, that's probably number one. But again, that's more a Rihanna's a LeBron fan. Like, McConaughey is a Texas fan. He's a Vince Young fan because Vince Young went to Texas, but he's a Texas fan first. He's going to be cheering for whoever that quarterback is, playing for the long run. Vince Young's on that other team, sorry. McConaughey, not necessarily a Vince Young fan. So his commitment to the franchise and to the team feels a little bit different, and he feels more like a traditional fan. But again, Rihanna is maybe more of a 2025 fan. Like, that's the way we do it now. We follow players, and we just bounce around wherever they go. And we buy jerseys, and we follow, I don't know, highlights or narratives, or I don't really know what people are following for player stuff in 2025. But maybe she's just a trend-setting edge, cutter. Pause. I don't know if that's even a thing, but if it is, whatever it is, we just hope we're in the mix with it with Brianna. But maybe she's a trailblazer in that type of way in modern day fandom. But as a traditional fan base fan and the player to intersect with that, if we had a great McConaughey, Vince Young intersection in a more massive way, then pause. Whoa, hold up, that's wild. Vince Young for 2. And he goes, it's good, chat, 41-38. 19 seconds left. Matt Leinart, for as great as his career was and as legendary it was. I mean, and again, to go to the point of him being just the greatness of his career, with the 2 wins, the 3 appearances, and within 19 seconds of winning a national title himself, just a couple of seconds, a good drive, a good stop to win the national title there. Just, again, the greatness of Vince Young individually across from him in this game. So unfortunately, no Mahomes level stuff. Maybe no Kelsey as well too. No Tyreek Hill is really what it was. But Reggie Bush up the sideline, a sneaky play, gets to midfield. They do only need a field goal to tie. Again, we know what happens. There is a flag on the play, so I don't know if that's a killer here for what's going to eventually happen as the end result. But oh no, they get to the I thought I saw a flag. No, I didn't see a flag. Okay, so they are at the 43-yard line. I said no Mahomes stuff, but it's kind of right there. Is this Leinart, don't take a sack. 4-3. Leinart! Oh, chat! For as great as the career was, it really was Leinart not getting the ball out on that last play. Wow. I don't know. Again, we're not retroactively all going to just go down to oh, man, this is Leinart's fault. They didn't win a 3rd national title in a row. But that's a long field goal as well, too. They're probably not going to make that field goal. So he's do you have to turn into it being a touchdown type thing there? But it wasn't a touchdown pass either. So, tough stuff at the end. It is what it is. But, it's just how close this game was, how dramatic the ending was, and just how legendary all the performers were in this game. Iconic stuff to remember. Good pick. I don't know if ChatGPT actually picked it, but if it did, we'll give it some credit and say good pick. So that's the first historic anniversary game off the books for this summer, the 05 Rose Bowl. Great one to go back and revisit. So we'll have to choose, I guess, between college football, or I guess college basketball, or NFL, NBA the next time we go for this. But we'll be back Friday, of course. Same schedule for the rest of this week, and we hope you guys will be joining us here on the YouTube as well too. And if you guys want, the feeds do go up a little bit late. They hit the podcast feeds as well too, so they're on Spotify, on Apple over there, if you want to view them that way as well too. And they showed Vince Young's stats from the last 2 Rose Bowls. Wait, let me go see that again real quick. That was insane. So in 2 Rose Bowl games, he's at 447 pass yards, 392 rush yards, and 8 total touchdowns. 7 rushing touchdowns, 1 passing touchdown. But regardless, 8 total touchdowns and over, almost 250 yards passing in each of those games as well too. So he is at 839 yards and 8 touchdowns in 2 Rose Bowl games. Jeez, legendary stuff. Vince Young, shout out. But yeah, that is the live stream for tonight. Like I said, we'll be back. You can catch us on the various feeds, and you can message us at Instagram, on Instagram, at REMINGTOM Pod, whatever it is, at REMINGTOM Pod on Instagram. DM us over there if you want to. So